Chapter 1868. In the Divine Ox Castle, the Ox Chieftain stared at Luo Shenchuan, who just arrived. He coldly spoke, "Luo Shenchuan, you have already left the Luoshan clan. This is a joyous occasion between our Divine Ox clan and the Luoshan clan. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you here for?" Clearly, the Ox Chieftain felt trepidation. The arrival of 7 heavenly deities had already threatened the Divine Ox Castle. "I came here to announce a matter," Luo Shenchuan calmly spoke, his words causing countless gazes to turn to him. Luo Shenchuan came to the Divine Ox Castle to announce a matter? What major matter was this? Back then, when I abdicated my position as the Luoshan clan leader, I have already separated myself from the Luoshan clan. Now, I'm not here with the identity of the Luoshan clan, but rather, I've formed my own faction. There are some old friends in the Luoshan clan who are willing to follow me. From today onwards, I, Luo Shenchuan, shall be the 4th hegemonic power in the desolate region. Luo Shenchuan calmly spoke. His words were like thunder exploding in the eardrums of everyone. Luo Shenchuan wanted to establish a new hegemonic power independently. What did this mean? This meant that from today onwards, the 4th hegemonic power in the desolate region would be born. This also meant that the Luoshan clan would officially split apart. They didn't doubt that Luo Shenchuan had the ability to split the Luoshan clan. He had been the Luoshan clan leader for many years and his influence was extremely deep. Right now, there was a heavenly deity from the Luoshan clan following him. The Luoshan clan was once the strongest hegemonic power in the desolate region and had over 10 heavenly deities. Even if they were weakened now, if one included Luo Shenchuan, they would still have 9 heavenly deities. Naturally, one of the heavenly deities was brought away by the Qin clan. On the surface, there were only 8 heavenly deities left. After Luo Shenchuan formed his own faction, the Luoshan clan split into 2. If they split it equally, they would still have 4 heavenly deities each. There wouldn't be a problem for them to become the 4th hegemonic power in the desolate region. The Luoshan clan splitting apart should have been the most beneficial to the Divine Ox clan, because they would become the strongest hegemonic power in the desolate region. However, the experts from the Divine Ox clan weren't excited because Luo Shenchuan and the Demon God Mountain had joined forces. If it was in the past, such a situation wouldn't have happened. The desolate region was a tripartite balance of power forming a balance. But now the balance was broken. The Qin clan of the Heaven region wanted to interfere in the matters of the desolate region. This was why Luo Shenchuan decided to join forces with the Demon God Mountain. "So what of it?" the Ox Chieftain coldly asked. "The heavenly deity of my Luoshan clan, Luo Shenshao, is willing to follow me. The people of his bloodline will all be my subordinates. From now on, this includes his granddaughter Luo Shenmeng. Luo Shenshao doesn't agree to Luo Shenmeng marrying into the Divine Ox clan. The Divine Ox clan isn't worthy. Hence, I came here to tell the Divine Ox clan that there's no need to hold the banquet. Luo Shenmeng won't marry." Luo Shenchuan calmly spoke. In addition, what the 5 demon sovereigns said earlier is logical. The demon sovereigns don't belong to your Divine Ox clan. They belong to the Demon God Mountain. The Divine Ox clan should release them. My Divine Ox clan has already escorted Luo Shenmeng from the Luoshan clan. She will soon return to the Divine Ox clan. How can we stop her just because you say so? The Ox Chieftain coldly spoke, wanting to probe Qin Wentian. "I've already ordered my men to stop them. If the Divine Ox clan is willing to hand over Luo Shenmeng, it's fine. But if they are unwilling, they would be making an enemy out of me, Luo Shenchuan. If there are casualties, please don't mind it too much." Luo Shenchuan calmly spoke. Upon hearing Luo Shenchuan's words, the Ox Chieftain's expression turned ashen. As expected, there were experts here. They came to the Divine Ox clan to seal the path. At this moment, a voice rang out in his mind, causing the Ox Chieftain's expression to turn even more unsightly. He took out his messaging crystal and transmitted his voice. "Luo Shenchuan and the experts from the Demon God Mountain are currently in my Divine Ox Castle. You guys can handle the matters there yourself." After putting down his messaging crystal, the Ox Chieftain stared at Luo Shenchuan. "Luo Shenchuan, are you declaring war against my Divine Ox clan?" "That would have to depend on the attitude of the Divine Ox clan. I've already said it. Just do what I said earlier and everything will be fine." If not, the Divine Ox clan wants to abduct my followers. In that case, it would be a declaration of war against me, Luo Shenchuan. I will naturally accompany them. Luo Shenchuan coldly replied. This scene was extremely similar to the time when the Divine Ox clan accompanied the Qin clan to the Luoshan clan. It's just that the situation was reversed. Right now, Luo Shenchuan had the initiative. Upon seeing this, everyone sighed. The Divine Ox clan insulted the Luoshan clan, but Luoshan Mu didn't do anything. On the other hand, the original clan leader who left the Luoshan clan stood out, wanting to return a tooth for a tooth. What about the demonic beasts under my clan's control? They originally belonged to my clan. What does that have to do with you? The Ox chieftain coldly spoke. For the sake of maintaining order in the desolate region. Luo Shenchuan calmly spoke. The Ox chieftain's expression turned black. What was order? Such an excuse was simply an insult to the intelligence of the Ox clan. However, it was just like how they dealt with the Luoshan clan. Since the Ox clan and the Ox chieftain joined forces, they would definitely achieve their goals. Was an excuse important? His Divine Ox clan faced the same choice as the Luoshan clan. They could either compromise or start a war. Today, the 10,000 clans gathered here. Initially, they thought that it would be a glorious day for the Divine Ox clan, symbolizing that their Divine Ox clan would ascend to the peak of the desolate region. But now, those beautiful fantasies seem to be filled with mockery. Luo Shenchuan told the Divine Ox clan that whatever they can do, he can do as well. On the other side, at the location of the Dragon Phoenix chariot, after the heavenly might descended, 2 heavenly deities descended from the sky. Both of them were heavenly deities of the Luoshan clan. Luoshan Meng's grandfather Luoshan Shao, as well as Luoshan Wang, who said he would accompany the Luoshan clan back then, appeared in the air. The expressions of the people from the Luoshan clan changed. Luoshan Qiong walked out. What do you all mean by this? Luoshan Qiong, Luoshan Mu is willing to let the Luoshan clan suffer such humiliation. However, many people in our Luoshan clan are unable to endure it. We have to get revenge for this humiliation. Right now, clan leader has already arrived at the Divine Ox clan. Clan leader wants to get revenge for how the Divine Ox clan treated the Luoshan clan. Luoshan Shao spoke. The clan leader he spoke of naturally wasn't Luoshan Mu but Luoshan Chuan. Luoshan Qiong instantly understood. He coldly spoke. Luoshan Chuan stepping down is the will of the entire Luoshan clan. Back then you all didn't have any objections. But now, are you all planning to betray the Luoshan clan? Betray? Luoshan Wang sighed. Luoshan Qiong, you have to ask yourself honestly. Is the Luoshan clan now still the Luoshan clan? Clan leader has already decided to establish a new clan. All of us are willing to follow him and restore the glory of the Luoshan clan. Are you willing to follow Luoshan Mu, or the clan leader? Have you all gone mad? This is a betrayal, splitting the Luoshan clan apart. Luoshan Qiong's expression was extremely ugly to behold. There were 2 heavenly deities here, in addition to the disappearance of the Luoshan Tu earlier. Could it be that all of them submitted to Luoshan Chuan? If this was the case, the entire Luoshan clan would be split into 2. Think about it carefully. Are Luoshan Mu's actions worthy of the Luoshan clan? Facing the humiliation of the Qin clan and Divine Ox clan, he still wants to get rid of those who opposed him in the past. Such actions aren't worthy of being the leader of the Luoshan clan. Let's not waste any more words. If you still have a bit of conscience, just step aside. Right now, I've already decided to follow the clan leader and establish my own clan. My granddaughter won't marry someone of a lower status. That vile beast isn't worthy. Luoshan Shao coldly spoke. Below, on the dragon carriage, Devilox's expression turned ashen. The experts from the Divine Ox clan beside him all had looks of rage on their faces. The Luoshan clan actually went back on their words? Also, they just sent a message to their chieftain saying that Luoshan Chuan and the experts from the Demon God Mountain had arrived at the Divine Ox castle. You all want to go back on what the Luoshan clan has agreed to? The voice of the heavenly deity from the Divine Ox clan was extremely cold. I've said it before. Right now, we have already decided to follow our clan leader and establish our own clan. We are no longer under the jurisdiction of the Luoshan clan. You bunch of vile beasts are delusional. Scram back to where you came from. Luoshan Zhao's words were impolite. causing the experts from the Divine Ox clan to be filled with towering rage. That heavenly deity stared at Luo Shenqiong. Luo Shenqiong, if we don't settle this matter today, let alone the Divine Ox clan, the Qin clan is also a witness. They definitely won't let this matter rest. Let Devilox and the others leave first. We will stop the two of them. Luo Shenqiong spoke. Right now the Qin clan was divided. If they offended the Divine Ox clan and the Qin clan too much, the consequences would be even more severe. Right now, since Luo Shenchuan stepped out, he would make the Divine Ox clan place this debt on Luo Shenchuan and the others. As for whether they could save Luo Shenmeng and the others, that would depend on how much preparation Luo Shenchuan and the others had made. At the very least, he wanted to draw a line between the Luoshan clan on the Luoshan mountain and this matter. With the foundation of the Luoshan clan, even Luo Shenchuan wouldn't want to implicate the Luoshan mountain. Right. The heavenly deity from the Divine Ox clan spoke. After that, the two of them soared into the clouds, flying towards Luoshan Xiao and Luoshan Wang. Continue moving forward. Devilox commanded. The Dragon Phoenix chariot continued forward. His gaze coldly swept towards the people from the Luoshan clan. He had to be on guard against these people, but right now no one dared to make things difficult for them. Luo Shenmeng was extremely nervous at this moment. She clenched her fists tightly. The arrival of her grandfather and Grandpa Wang seemed to have verified the words the people around her told her. However, in a battle between four heavenly deities, who on her side would be able to stop the people from the Divine Ox clan? The speed of the Dragon Phoenix chariot was extremely fast, soaring through the air. Behind them, terrifying heavenly might erupted forth. Over there, a deity-level battle had erupted, causing the heavens and earth to crumble. They traveled for a very long distance, but they still couldn't break away from the pressure. Devilox has been on high alert. He transmitted his voice to the experts from the Divine Ox clan. Prepare yourselves, the other party might have some backup plans. After transmitting his voice, he spoke to the people from the Luoshan clan. It's enough for the people from the Luoshan clan to arrive here. You guys can return first. Next, my Divine Ox clan will bring my 3 wives back to the Divine Ox castle. Many experts from the Luoshan clan understood what Devilox meant. Many of them nodded and turned to leave. The vast majority of people were arranged by Luoshan Mu. There were no relatives of the 3 beauties from the Luoshan clan present. There were a few people who were arranged by Luoshan Wang. An example was the guard beside Luoshan Meng. He simply stood there unmoving and there was no aura emanating from him at all. It was like everything in his body was concealed. Devilox's ruthless eyes instantly landed on that guard. Before this, he didn't care about a mere guard. But now 2 heavenly deities appeared. In addition to the fact that this guard didn't emit any aura, it was clear that he had cultivated some sort of concealment technique. Did you not hear my words? Devilox coldly asked. As the sound of his voice faded, the concealment energy from that guard vanished as a surge of pressure gushed forth. Devilox frowned. After that, his expression abruptly changed. His eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness as he icily spoke, Qin Wentian. From that pressure he could sense the aura of a Dao bone. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. How did Devilox know that it was him? His countenance changed, revealing a handsome face. Luo Shenmeng also had a look of disbelief on her face when she saw Qin Wentian. Qin Zhong went to chase after Qin Wentian and in the end, Qin Zhong died. Qin Wentian actually didn't die and now, he appeared beside her. Chapter 1869. Luo Shenmeng instantly understood. Seems like Grandpa Wang intentionally arranged for Qin Wentian to be by her side. Grandpa Wang both opposed Luo Shenmu and supported Luo Shenchuan. You are actually still alive. Could it be that the Luoshan clan had a hand in Qin Zhong's death? Devilox narrowed his eyes. The things that happened today couldn't help but make him suspect. The heavenly deities of the Luoshan clan suddenly betrayed Luo Shenmu and submitted to Luo Shenchuan again. Qin Wentian appeared in the wedding procession and Luo Shenchuan personally came to the Divine Ox castle. Clearly, this was planned meticulously and Luo Shenwang cooperated with Luo Shenchuan as a spy. When we were in Tiandao's Sacred Academy, didn't you want to spar with me? Now your chance has arrived. Qin Wentian's expression was cold. Devilox laughed uproariously. Spar? Why should I spar with you? So what if you are alive? Since you dare to appear here alone, I will make sure you die here. Your Dao bone will also be mine." As he spoke, Devilox waved his hand. The experts from the Divine Ox clan surrounded Qin Wentian. He naturally wouldn't let his emotions affect his decisions and fight against Qin Wentian alone. Given Qin Wentian's strength, he still felt some trepidation. The other experts from the Luotian clan have all left. Only Qin Wentian was left behind. Devilox didn't understand what Qin Wentian's intention was. Although he didn't have any heavenly deities with him, there were many powerful world overlords and several hegemonic-level world overlords. How could Qin Wentian fight against them? Luo Shenmeng's beautiful eyes flashed with worry. Indeed, even if Grandpa Wang arranged for Qin Wentian to be here, the other party had many experts. Violent waves of demonic qi engulfed the area. Behind the experts from the Divine Ox clan, a gigantic shadow kuei appeared, blotting out the sky and instantly sealing this space, not allowing Qin Wentian any chance to escape. However, Qin Wentian's expression was incomparably calm when he saw this scene. He released his sword-type astral soul. Right now, his astral soul was different from before. His sword domain and sword-type astral soul seemed to contain the might of the Tao. Luo Shenyu once saw Qin Wentian's battle and said that Qin Wentian's comprehension wasn't any weaker compared to him. This meant that Qin Wentian had already comprehended the power of a heavenly deities. Devilox, you are known as a supreme genius of the Divine Ox clan. However, your understanding of strength is still limited to the number of people you have. How laughable. Qin Wentian calmly glanced at Devilox. After that, he pulled out his sword. At this moment, the light from his sword domain fused into the demon sword as a terrifying stillness energy appeared in the air. It felt like the space around him was about to freeze. Luo Shenmeng could sense this the clearest. She didn't move at all. Her beautiful eyes were fixed there as she watched Qin Wentian pull out his sword. After that, he slashed out with his sword. The might of the great Tao seemed to be lacerating the sky. In an instant, a perfect arc of sword light appeared in the air. Everywhere it passed by, time and space froze. After that, the arc of sword light directly slashed apart, severing space. Qin Wentian slashed out at his original location, yet he ignored the distance and directly descended upon the surrounding space. Wherever the sword light was, the Tao would be. Devilox inclined his head and stared at the air. Over there, he only saw a spatial tear appearing. Everywhere the arc of sword light passed by, the bodies of the Divine Ox clan's experts would be directly slashed apart. The gigantic Kuei Ox shadow directly crumbled apart. The sword slashed out, cleaving apart space, splitting the heavens and earth apart. This seemingly ordinary sword strike contained too much energy within it, transforming into a supreme sword strike. Even for hegemonic-level existences, they would still be slain by a single slash. At this moment, Devilox knew how great the disparity between him and Qin Wentian was. There was no way to make up for it. Qin Wentian's actions didn't stop. He once used the Tao of Swords to slash apart the body of a heavenly deity, Qin Zhong. Even heavenly deities could be killed. In addition, after that battle, his comprehension and usage of strength grew even stronger. How could world overlords block a single sword strike from him? Sword light flashed once more. Within his astral soul, numerous ancient sword runes appeared, floating in the air. The experts from the Divine Ox clan were all slain one after another. In just an instant, all of them died. Other than Devilox, no one else survived. Devilox's countenance turned pale. At this moment he felt terror. He took out his messaging crystal, but at the instant he did so, Qin Wentian directly appeared before him. Time and space seemed to freeze. Devilox's movements stiffened. He used his own strength to resist the power of time and space, but at the same time, a beam of light directly pierced through his messaging crystal. The sword light sealed this space. Only Qin Wentian and Devilox were here. Even Luo Shenmeng couldn't see the situation inside because the thing he was about to do wasn't that elegant. At this moment, an incomparably resplendent light erupted from Devilox's body, as a heaven-shaking battle intent radiated from him. With a thunderous roar, the frozen space seemed to collapse. Devilox transformed into a gigantic Kuei Ox, incomparably baleful. His body radiated a treasured light, and just the battle aura he exuded was sufficient to crush the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian, if you kill me, how can you still live? Devilox coldly spoke. I've already killed Qin Zhong. So what if you are one more? Qin Wentian calmly spoke. The terror in Devilox's eyes grew even more intense. Qin Zhong was killed by Qin Wentian? How can this be possible? Qin Wentian could already kill heavenly deities? Seems like although you are born with a Dao bone, it's still the Dao bone of the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. A look of shock flashed in Devilox's eyes. The Battle Saint tribe was a very ancient existence. It wasn't strange for Qin Wentian to know about it through ancient records. But why did he immediately say that it was the Dao bone of the Battle Saint tribe when he sensed the Dao bone's might? What relationship do you have with the Battle Saint tribe? Devilox coldly asked. There's no need for you to know this. However, after so many years have passed, it's about time for your Dao bone to return to its rightful owner. Didn't you always want my Dao bone? Back in the world of reincarnation, you wanted to ambush me and snatch it away. Today you have a chance. The Dao bone in Qin Wentian's body also gushed forth. Beams of light blasted onto Devilox's gigantic body, causing his tyrannical aura to almost freeze. He let out a heaven-shaking roar of rage, wanting to break free from Qin Wentian's Heaven Heart mandate. Numerous gigantic Kuei-Ox shadows appeared, wanting to destroy everything. But in this space their movements were all slowed down. They basically couldn't unleash their might. Staring at Qin Wentian walking closer, a look of terror appeared on Devilox's face. Don't kill me. I can agree to any request you have. There are many treasures in my Divine Ox clan. I can use them to exchange for my life. Qin Wentian continued walking forward, not wavering at all. Devilox was extremely despicable. Back then in the world of reincarnation, Devilox sneak-attacked Qin Wentian, wanting to dig out his Dao bone. Leaving aside the fact that Devilox's words weren't attractive to Qin Wentian, even if they were, they wouldn't be trustworthy. Staring at Qin Wentian getting closer, Devilox's eyes were filled with boundless terror. He was a supreme character of the Divine Ox clan and had a Dao bone in his body. When he unleashed his full strength, he would be extremely powerful. But today he was actually going to die here and his Dao bone was going to be dug out. When he thought of this, he couldn't help but feel a sense of terror gushing forth. Sword light flashed, blotting out this space. In the sealed space, Luo Shenmeng stared ahead. She had no idea what was going on. But very swiftly, Qin Wentian walked out. His white robes were spotless as he directly landed on the Phoenix chariot. Destroy the messaging crystals on you guys. These dragons and phoenixes followed Qin Wentian's instructions and destroyed their messaging crystals. They naturally understood Qin Wentian's meaning. He was worried that they would inform the Divine Ox clan of this matter. Head to the Demon God Mountain. Seeing them destroying their messaging crystals, Qin Wentian spoke again. After they arrived at the Demon God Mountain, the Demon God Mountain would naturally deal with them. If they were enslaved by the Divine Ox clan, they could cultivate on the Demon God Mountain in the future. The dragon and phoenix chariot changed directions and flew towards the Demon God Mountain. Luo Shenmeng was still sitting on the chariot, staring at the white-robed figure on the phoenix. Her beautiful eyes flashed with gratitude as she softly spoke, "Thank you." From the time when the heavenly deities intercepted them, to the time when deity-level battles erupted, to the time when Devilox and the others died, it actually wasn't a long period of time. The four heavenly deities were still fighting, destroying the heavens and earth. It was only until Luo Shenwang and Luo Shenxiao received a voice transmission that Qin Wentian and Luo Shenqiong were saved that they continued to delay the Divine Ox clan. At the very least, they couldn't allow them to chase after Luo Shenmeng. What are you doing? Devilox is dead. Not long after, the Ox chieftain's enraged roar rang out in the mind of the Divine Ox clan's heavenly deity. That heavenly deity's body trembled as his heavenly might fluctuated unstably. His countenance turned ashen as he stared at the two heavenly deities before him. Who killed Devilox? He roared in rage. Luo Shenqiong was shocked. Devilox was killed? As expected, Luo Shenchuan still had a backup plan. I told you guys to hand over Devilox and leave, but you guys didn't listen and wanted to start a war. Since this is the case, you guys should be prepared to pay the price. Luo Shenwen calmly spoke. The Divine Ox clan's heavenly deity wanted to continue fighting, but the Ox chieftain's voice rang out in his mind again. Return to the Divine Ox castle immediately. The Divine Ox clan's heavenly deity gave up on fighting. He turned and sped towards the direction of the Divine Ox castle. Luo Shenjiao's silhouette flashed as he chased after him. Luo Shenwang remained in his original location, staring at Luo Shenqiong. Luo Shenqiong took out his messaging crystal and reported everything that happened to Luo Shenmu. After Luo Shenmu learned of this, his roar of rage rang out from the Luoshan mountain. Luo Shenchuan, you want to destroy the Luoshan clan? Not long after he became the clan leader, the Luoshan clan was humiliated. After that, Luo Shenchuan split the Luoshan clan. Everything was out of his control. He didn't know what would happen to the Luoshan clan in the future. Return to the Divine Ox castle immediately. Luo Shenmu replied to Luo Shenqiong. Since things have already happened, it was about time for them to settle everything. At the very least, the Luoshan mountain had to express their attitude. This matter was done by Luo Shenchuan and had nothing to do with the Luoshan clan. If not, the Luoshan clan that was split apart would be in an even more passive position. Since Luo Shenchuan did this, he naturally had to bear all the consequences. He didn't want the Luoshan clan to be implicated. Chapter 1870. In the Divine Ox Castle, after the Ox chieftain learned that Devilox was killed, a heavenly might erupted forth from him. He immediately sent a message for the Divine Ox clan's heavenly deity to return. A low roar rang out as his body expanded in size. Behind him, the shadow of the Kuei Ox towered into the sky, radiating a baleful aura that enveloped the entire Divine Ox castle. The people who came here to attend the banquet were all stunned. They stared in shock at the Ox chieftain, who was suddenly enraged. Before this, when Luo Shenchuan and the demon sovereign stated their conditions, the Ox chieftain wasn't so violent. But now he seemed to be on the verge of going berserk. Luo Shenchuan, you actually sent people to kill Devilox? The Ox chieftain's voice boomed out like thunder in the minds of everyone, causing their hearts to pound. Their eardrums felt like they were about to rupture, feeling extremely unbearable. They had to incline their heads and stare at the Ox chieftain's body before they could see his rage. He had transformed into a true demon god, unleashing his anger. Devilox was actually killed by someone. This person who inherited the Dao bone of the Divine Ox clan was the treasure of the Divine Ox clan. No one could touch him. Killing him was equivalent to challenging the bottom line of the Divine Ox clan. No wonder the Ox chieftain would erupt forth with such heaven-shaking might. In that case, I've already sent people to fetch Luo Shenmeng. Your Divine Ox clan didn't agree? Luo Shenchuan coldly spoke. His body grew larger, becoming as large as the Ox chieftain. He radiated a supreme might, like the true sovereign of all demons. Countless demonic beasts felt his aura and wanted to prostrate themselves on the ground. The Luoshan clan possessed the bloodline that all demons in the desolate region wanted to obtain. It was precisely because of this that the Divine Ox clan always wanted to obtain the women of the Luoshan clan. I've already announced that Luo Shenmeng will leave the Luoshan clan and submit to me. Your Divine Ox clan actually still dared to forcefully abduct her? Do you still have me in your eyes? Luo Shenchuan's voice was cold, his aura shocking the heavens. So what if Devilox died? It's your Divine Ox clan that didn't do as I said. Although this is within my expectations, how can you show weakness in a confrontation between heavenly deities? Not only the Ox chieftain would be enraged. The Ox chieftain didn't completely lose his rationality. He knew that if they fought against the Divine Ox castle, firstly in terms of strength, they wouldn't have any advantage. Secondly, if the battlefield was the Divine Ox castle, it would only be a calamity for their Divine Ox clan. Once a deity-level battle erupted, he didn't believe that the Divine Ox clan would show mercy. The Ox chieftain stared fixedly at Luo Shenchuan. The highest bloodline talent of the Luoshan clan was the rearing divinity, able to summon a myriad of demonic beasts. In addition to Luo Shenchuan's strength, if they fought, the Ox chieftain wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. I can agree to your conditions and no longer pursue the matter of Luo Shenmeng. Similarly, I can also release the enslaved demonic beasts. However, you have to return the corpse of Devilox to me. The Ox chieftain spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, countless people were shocked. The Ox chieftain actually made a concession. Seems like to him, Devilox's corpse was more important than anything else. In fact, even if the Divine Ox clan had to suffer humiliation, he still wanted to obtain the corpse of Devilox first. Everyone in the desolate region knew that there was a Dao bone in Devilox's body. Also, those who read the ancient records knew that this was the Battle Saint bone of the Battle Saint tribe. Once, the Battle Saint tribe relied on this supreme inheritance to become one of the peak powers in the desolate region. They had always been suppressing the Divine Ox clan, and even forced the Divine Ox clan to migrate to avoid calamity. This lasted until the Divine Ox clan stole the Battle Saint bone, causing the Battle Saint tribe to lose their most important inheritance and started to decline. It was recorded in the ancient records that the Battle Saint bone was simply too important to the Battle Saint tribe. With the Battle Saint bone, the talent of the descendants of the Divine Ox clan would all rise. With the inheritance of the Battle Saint tribe, it wasn't something an ordinary Dao bone could compare to. If not, the Battle Saint tribe wouldn't have gradually declined after losing the Battle Saint bone. The effect of the Dao bone in the body of the Divine Ox clan had already weakened. However, the Divine Ox clan still viewed it as a supreme treasure. Right now, even if they had to suffer humiliation and temporarily compromise, the Ox chieftain still wanted to obtain the Dao bone back first. Not pursue this matter? I haven't said that I won't pursue what your Divine Ox clan has done. Luo Shenchuan coldly replied. As for releasing all the greater demons, this is the idea of the 5 demon sovereigns. This isn't something that can be used to negotiate. Today, the Divine Ox clan has to hand over the Dao bone no matter what. The corpse of Devilox still wanted the Dao bone back? The Divine Ox clan humiliated the Luoshan clan. It wouldn't be too much for them to collect some interest, right? In addition, Qin Wentian volunteered to do this. Qin Wentian told him that the Dao bone in Devilox's body was extremely useful to him. This was why Luoshan Chuan arranged for Luoshan Wang to bring the disguised Qin Wentian back to the Luoshan mountain. After speaking, Luo Shenchuan took out his messaging crystal and pretended to ask a question. A moment later, his expression turned heavy, incomparably cold. Luo Shenxiao told me that back then, they were dealing with the heavenly deities of your Divine Ox clan as well as Luo Shenxiong. Devilox ignored Luo Shenxiao's words and still brought Luo Shenmeng to the Divine Ox clan, even chasing the people of the Luoshan clan away. Right now, Luo Shenmeng and 2 other maidens of my Luoshan clan are missing. All of this was done by your Devilox clan. Shouldn't your Divine Ox clan give me an explanation? You. The Ox chieftain roared in rage. Luo Shenchuan actually didn't want to admit that he was the one who did it and even retorted saying that Luo Shenmeng went missing. Could it be that this wasn't arranged by him? The people below were speechless. Heavenly deities were truly shameless when playing tricks. They naturally wouldn't believe Luo Shenchuan's words. Clearly, he was the one who ordered his subordinates to do this. He didn't want to return the Dao bone, but he didn't want to admit it. What does the Divine Ox clan want to do? Start a war? Let's play with them then. Let's fight then. The Ox chieftain roared in rage. He soared up into the air, but Luo Shenchuan merely coldly glanced at him. For those who have nothing to do with this, just leave. The Dao is emotionless. If you are implicated, don't blame me for dying together with the Divine Ox clan. Luo Shenchuan stood at his original location and stared at the Ox chieftain. Wanting to fight in the air? Why? When the Divine Ox clan arrived at the Luoshan mountain, they weren't so polite at all. Seems like the Divine Ox clan doesn't intend to hand over the enslaved demonic beasts. The Kuan sovereign coldly spoke. Abruptly, he reverted to his true form. An incomparably gigantic rock appeared in the air, blotting out the sun. His wings spread open and spanned across 10,000 miles. It was incomparably majestic and tyrannical. A stifling wave of demonic qi engulfed the area. His wings were like the sharpest divine weapon in the world, capable of slicing through everything. He slowly flapped his wings, but although they seemed very slow, they still caused a destructive storm below. The Divine Ox clan was in chaos. The expressions of countless experts changed. If a deity-level battle really erupted, they would be caught in the crossfire. Chieftain. Many people from the Divine Ox clan stared at their chieftain as terror appeared on their faces. It wasn't realistic to say that they weren't afraid. No matter humans or demons, they would all have a backbone. But in the face of life, what would they want? dignity or life. Back then when the Qing clan and Divine Ox clan came to the Luotian mountain, could it be that the people on the Luotian mountain weren't afraid? There were some who were unwilling to be humiliated and wanted to fight. But what about the others? Could it be that they were waiting for death? Who would easily gamble with their lives? Right now, the Divine Ox clan was facing the same choice. The Kuan sovereign has already reverted to his true form. If you feel that I don't dare to start a war, you can give it a try then. Naturally, if you dare to do so, you must have the advantage in terms of strength. It was so back then when you came to the Luotian mountain, it was the same today. On Luotian Chuan's side, it wasn't as simple as having an additional heavenly deity. Also, the combat prowess of the 5 demon sovereigns wasn't something ordinary heavenly deities could compare to. What you guys did to my Divine Ox clan today, are you not afraid that I will return the favor to the Luotian clan and Demon God Mountain? The Ox chieftain roared in rage. Old Ox, I should be the one saying this to you. Back then when you came to the Luotian mountain, did you not expect such a day would come? Naturally, you can still go to the Luotian mountain and Demon God Mountain in the future. But unless the Divine Ox clan can kill us all, we can still bathe the Divine Ox clan in blood. Luotian Chuan domineeringly replied. Chieftain, we originally didn't come here to start a war. We only came here to let the demonic beasts return to where they should be. This is all for the sake of maintaining order in the desolate region. The heaven-devouring demon sovereign laughed. The Ox chieftain wanted to curse out loud. Shameless to the extreme. The wedding can no longer be held. Chieftain still hasn't said anything? Could it be that the banquet still wants to continue? Do you want to treat us to a few cups of wine? I don't have such an interest. The dragon sovereign radiated a tyrannical aura as she spoke. The Ox chieftain glanced at these people. After that, he closed his eyes and spoke, Fine, I will do as you all wish. In that case, many thanks to chieftain. The Kuan sovereign calmly spoke. The Divine Ox clan compromised. The hearts of everyone trembled. A deity-level battle ultimately didn't erupt. Luotian Chuan was right. This matter was started by the Divine Ox clan and the Qing clan. Luotian Chuan was merely returning the favor. However, given the personality of the Divine Ox clan, they most probably wouldn't let this matter rest. In the future, the desolate region wouldn't be peaceful anymore. Back then, in order to avoid calamity, the Divine Ox clan even hid in a particle world, enduring the humiliation and eventually destroyed the Battle Saint tribe. Right now, even the Dao bone of the Divine Ox clan was seized. The Divine Ox clan could only temporarily swallow this anger, but they definitely wouldn't give up so easily. After that, the Divine Ox clan issued an eviction order, chasing away all the experts from the other races. After that, they handed all the greater demons over to the 5 demon sovereigns. When the heavenly deities of the Divine Ox clan, Luotian Qiong, and Luotian Shao arrived at the Divine Ox clan, everything had already concluded. Luotian Qiong sighed in his heart. He didn't expect that the humiliation the Luotian clan suffered would actually be avenged by the original clan leader, Luotian Chuan. He felt some bitterness in his heart. But standing from Luotian Mu's standpoint, he couldn't blame Luotian Chuan. Could it be that he wanted to watch as the Luotian mountain was raised to flat ground? On the Demon God Mountain, the 5 demon sovereigns led the greater demons back. Many of the demonic beasts were extremely excited. Although their statuses in the Divine Ox clan weren't considered low, they still had to depend on the charity of others. Over there, only the members of the Divine Ox clan were supreme existences. As for the Demon God Mountain, it was truly a paradise for demonic beasts. Now that they came here, as long as they could become demon gods, they would be able to become demon sovereigns. Awesome! The heaven-devouring old ancestor heartily spoke. After making arrangements for the demonic beasts, they arrived at the peak of an ancient mountain. He then spoke to Luotian Chuan. This time around, our Demon God Mountain has gained many demonic beasts. As for you, Luotian Chuan, you didn't gain anything at all. I've gained a lot. Luotian Chuan laughed. Avenging the humiliation Luotian Chuan suffered was the most important thing. In addition, Qin Wentian obtained the Dao bone. At this moment, a few figures descended. It was none other than Qin Wentian and Luotian Meng. Luotian Yu and Luotian Lei also came. They all knew about what happened in the Divine Ox Castle. Grandfather. Qin Wentian walked towards Luotian Chuan. Luo Xinchuan nodded to him. Grandfather, this time around we finally managed to vent our anger and redeem the humiliation we suffered in the past. Luo Xinlei was somewhat excited. Later, don't forget that there's still the Qin clan. Qin Wentian spoke. Luo Xinlei's beautiful eyes froze. Luo Xinchuan's eyes also flashed with coldness. The Qin clan was the true culprit. Right now, the Qin clan brought away a heavenly deity and 10 world overlords of their Luotian clan. This debt wouldn't be so easily repaid. Chapter 1871. The strength of the Qin clan was much stronger compared to the Divine Ox clan. Even when the Luotian clan was at their peak, they were already at a disadvantage when fighting against the Qin clan. Let alone now, even with the 5 demon sovereigns, the Luotian clan's strength was still insufficient. Luo Xinchuan naturally wanted to get revenge for this debt. However, it wouldn't be so easy. They headed to the Divine Ox Castle because they were stronger. If they headed to the Qin clan wouldn't hesitate to start a war, and might even leave a few heavenly deities behind. Clearly, this was impossible to happen. The 5 demon sovereigns of the Demon God Mountain wouldn't do such a thing. Luo Xinchuan and Luo Xinlei's expressions turned solemn when they heard Qin Wentian's words. Luo Xinhan and the 10 world overlords were most probably imprisoned in the Qin clan. They had no idea what they would be facing. Grandfather, senior demon sovereign, I'm preparing to leave the desolate region. Qin Wentian suddenly spoke. You are leaving just like that? Luo Xinchuan's eyes flashed. Grandfather, you have to be careful in the desolate region. Qin Wentian nodded and reminded. Now that the Luotian clan was divided, the Divine Ox clan wouldn't let this matter rest. The Qin clan also wanted to capture Luo Xinchuan. In the future, the desolate region wouldn't be peaceful. We will hide in the shadows, you don't have to worry. But you... Luo Xinchuan was a little worried. I'm fine. Senior Demon Sovereign has already given the order in the Demon God Mountain. No one knows where I went after Qinzhong died. I've also instructed Luo Xinmeng and the others that no one will know that I was the one who killed Devilox. I'm a missing person after all. Qin Wentian smiled. The heaven-devouring demon sovereign nodded. Don't worry about this. The Demon God Mountain will definitely not leak out any news. It's just that little fellow. I'm extremely happy that Senior likes that little fellow. Let him stay by Senior's side to cultivate. I will settle things for him. Qin Wentian spoke. The heaven-devouring demon sovereign nodded. He wanted to keep Little Rascal by his side and nurture him. Little Rascal would be the 6th demon sovereign of the Demon God Mountain. Luo Xinlei felt some reluctance, but she also knew that her elder brother wouldn't be safe if he stayed in the desolate region. It would be better for him to leave. Qin Wentian stayed another night on the Demon God Mountain and chatted with Luo Xinlei. The 3 beauties of the Luotian clan also came to thank him and persuaded Little Rascal. After that, Qin Wentian departed on the 2nd day with Luo Xinchuan escorting him. The desolate region was about to usher in a period of turmoil. However, all of this had nothing to do with Qin Wentian. Before becoming a heavenly deity, he had no way to decide the future of the desolate region. Time flowed by. The incident at the Divine Ox Castle caused a huge commotion in the desolate region. News of this spread to all the peak powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. There were people mocking the Divine Ox Castle, saying that before they had the strength to dominate the desolate region, they learned from the Qin clan and humiliated the Luotian clan. In the end, they were asking for their own humiliation. The Qin clan was so powerful that the Luotian clan didn't dare to take revenge. However, the Divine Ox clan was clearly weaker. Not only did they not obtain the bloodline of the Luotian clan, they even lost their Dao bones. Over at the Luotian clan, many people transmitted their voice transmissions to the heavenly deities, persuading Luo Xinchuan to return and take control of the Luotian clan once again. Luo Xinchuan rejected. Right now, the Luotian clan could be considered to have officially split apart. If he returned, he would still be fighting for power. He might as well stay in the shadows of the desolate region. In that case, the Divine Ox clan wouldn't dare to act against the Luotian clan. Luo Xinchuan didn't return. There were people who wanted to follow Luo Xinchuan, but Luo Xinchuan still rejected. Right now, the Luotian clan was in the shadows. The fewer people there were, the more convenient it would be for them to act. If they were like the Luotian mountain having a strong foundation, it would be more dangerous. The Divine Ox clan was searching for the identity of the person who killed Devilox in the past. Back then, the heavenly deities who followed Luotian Chuan all appeared in public. It was impossible for them to have participated in the assassination. Also, after their investigation, the vast majority of experts from the Luotian mountain were chased away by the Divine Ox clan, and only one or two remained. However, the strength of Devilox's group at that time definitely wasn't weak. In fact, it could be said that they were very strong. Without heavenly deities, who would be able to deal with them? This matter also became a secret. It was impossible for the Divine Ox clan to find an answer. As for the Dao bones, they naturally wouldn't be able to find them as well. Right now, the person and item they were searching for were already in the lower world, the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms. After a long journey, Qin Wentian returned to Azure Mystic. In Azure Mystic, after Qin Wentian returned, he directly headed to the ancient battlefield in ancient Azure Mystic. His family and friends were all cultivating there. In the ancient battlefield, many experts from the Battle Saint tribe gathered together. They felt some bewilderment. They didn't know why the Saint Lord would summon them. Also, this was the first time the Saint Lord summoned all of them. Does anyone know why the Saint Lord summoned them? Someone asked in bewilderment. Everyone shook their heads, indicating that they didn't understand. Qiyu's eyes flashed. He also didn't understand. He understood Qin Wentian's character very well. If it wasn't for something major happening, he would definitely not summon the Battle Saint tribe. Also, he only summoned them. After all, the number of people who followed Qin Wentian now was far from just the Battle Saint tribe alone. Qiyu was Emperor Yu back then. But naturally now, he couldn't be referred to as Emperor Yu anymore. Because he has already entered the World Overlord realm. Although he was just an ordinary World Overlord, he finally managed to take this step. It wasn't easy at all. At this moment, space fluctuated as a spatial gate appeared. After that, a figure walked out from it. It was none other than Qin Wentian. The Qin Wentian now was no longer the young man who entered the God Hand Mountain Manor, nor was he the young Saint Lord who entered the secret realm of the Battle Saint tribe. He was a hegemonic level World Overlord, a true supreme expert. Just by standing there, he gave off a feeling that he was a towering mountain, as though he was one with the heavens and earth. The Saint Lord of this generation might very well be able to bring their Battle Saint tribe to an unprecedented height. Saint Lord. Everyone bowed and called out. All of them were filled with respect towards Qin Wentian. Right now, Qin Wentian wasn't merely a Saint Lord, he was also the Heaven Empyrean of Azure Mystic, a hegemonic level World Overlord. Any identity of his was worthy of their respect. Even in the supreme ancient immortal realms, he could shake the heavens and earth with his might. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. It has already been many years since I became the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe. There have always been members of the Battle Saint tribe following me around, but I've never done anything for the Battle Saint tribe. Right now, I'm sure all of you should know who your enemies are. When he was in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he had already told the experts of the Battle Saint tribe around him. Saint Lord, the reason why our Battle Saint tribe can be so powerful today is all because of you. This far surpasses what we have done for you. Someone spoke, disagreeing with Qin Wentian's words. Many people nodded their heads, they still knew how to be grateful. Without Qin Wentian, let alone World Overlords, they didn't even know when they would be able to reach the Empyrean realm. And now, there were already several World Overlords in the Battle Saint tribe. That's right, Saint Lord, there's no need to say this. As for our enemies, we all know about them. They are from the Divine Ox clan of the Desolate region. Qin Wentian nodded. He then continued, I just came from the Desolate region and there's a conflict between me and the Divine Ox clan. Saint Lord, how is the strength of the Divine Ox clan now? One of the three hegemonic powers of the Desolate region, the Divine Ox clan. They have 7 demon gods. Qin Wentian and the people of the Battle Saint tribe had ugly expressions on their faces. All of them felt some despair. To them, 7 heavenly deities were simply out of reach. Revenge seemed to be too far away. This time around, I brought back an item from the Divine Ox clan. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he waved his hand and in an instant, a treasure light flashed. In the air before Qin Wentian, A resplendent golden rune bone could be seen flowing with boundless blood-colored runic lines, causing the rune bone to be extremely resplendent. At the instant the light radiated, the experts of the Battle Saint tribe all felt the blood in their bodies churning. Strands of blood-colored light directly seeped into their bodies, as though they wanted to form a connection with the rune bone floating in the air. A feeling of a bloodline connection appeared. The expressions of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe all changed as their blood surged. Their battle intent involuntarily gushed forth as their hearts pounded madly. They could sense that this rune bone belonged to their Battle Saint tribe. It was like this rune bone was originally part of their bodies. Battle Saint bone. A solemn voice rang out from the mouth of an expert from the Battle Saint tribe. That's right, although this was the first time they saw it, they could sense it. This was the inheritance of their Battle Saint tribe. The Battle Saint bone. Right now, the Saint Lord had actually brought it back. The eyes of many people from the Battle Saint tribe turned red. The reason why the Battle Saint tribe declined was because the Battle Saint bone was stolen. After countless years, the Battle Saint bone finally appeared before their eyes and was brought back by the Saint Lord. Only they themselves could understand how they felt. The heavens blessed our tribe, allowing us to obtain the protection of the Saint Lord. An old man sighed and actually knelt on the ground, kowtowing to Qin Wentian. He had an Empyrean cultivation base, but he was so emotional that his eyes turned red. Who wouldn't feel greedy for such a bone? Yet the Saint Lord actually took it out. Clearly, he wanted to return it to the Battle Saint tribe. Saint Lord. More and more people knelt on the ground. They were so emotional that their bodies were trembling. At this moment, their emotions were more sincere compared to before. The Saint Lord had brought back the Saint bone for them. There's no need to be like this. Everyone get up. Qin Wentian spoke. A formless energy lifted the bodies of everyone. He stared at the reactions of the Battle Saint tribe as he sighed in his heart. From the day they were born, they had a mission on their shoulders, bearing this memory that was engraved deep in their hearts. Now, they finally saw the lost Battle Saint bone and could clearly sense the connection between them and the Battle Saint tribe. No wonder they were so emotional. Seems like although the Saint bone was born in Devilox's body, it ultimately still belonged to the Battle Saint tribe. Just by floating in the air, it was able to form a resonance with the bodies of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Don't be agitated first. There's only a single Saint bone and there are so many of you. Who should it belong to exactly? Qin Wentian asked. The expressions of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe stiffened. Honestly speaking, since the Saint bone appeared and formed a resonance with their bodies, which of them didn't want it? If they said they didn't want it, they would be lying. However, there was only a single Saint bone. Who would take it? We will listen to Saint Lord's decision. That Empyrean old man spoke again. Everyone nodded. The Saint Lord was the one who brought the Tao bone back. Also, they should listen to the orders of the Saint Lord. They should listen to Qin Wentian's decision. Since this is the case, don't hate me for not obtaining the Saint bone. Qin Wentian spoke again. He didn't hesitate. How can we? The Saint bone has returned and will be passed down from generation to generation. As long as it isn't snatched away again, it will belong to our tribe forever. Also, we will choose the successor. We only hope that one day, the Battle Saint tribe would be able to take back everything that belongs to us. The old man's voice was solemn. Many people nodded. We will listen to Saint Lord's decision. Okay. Since this is the case, I won't be polite then. Qin Wentian nodded. Qiyu, now that your cultivation base is at the World Overlord realm, you can inherit the Battle Saint bone. I hope that the Saint bone in your body would be able to release its radiance. Qin Wentian chose Emperor Yu. One of the reasons was that Emperor Yu was a World Overlord. The other reason was because Emperor Yu had shown kindness to him before. Back in Azure Mystic, Emperor Yu had participated in the Emperor-ranked battles between the peak powers for him several times. Naturally, he wanted to repay this kindness. But who wouldn't have any selfish thoughts? Chapter 1872. Qiyu inclined his head, staring at Qin Wentian. His heart wasn't calm at all. He drew in a deep breath. He still remembered the first time he met Qin Wentian. It was at the God Hand Mountain Manor. At that time, Qin Wentian was still a junior at the Immortal Foundation realm. He accompanied Nam Huang Yunxi, and the others to the Godhand Mountain Manor to search for ancient Emperor Yi's inheritance. After that, he became the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe, and after that, he secretly protected this young Saint Lord many times. However, that was merely him completing his mission. The him at that time would never have imagined that there would be such a day today. That young man had already grown to such a level, and would only grow stronger in the future. He seized the Battle Saint bone back and was preparing to bestow it to him. Saint Lord. Qiyu didn't know what to say. He only saw Qin Wentian smiling. Uncle Yu, now this Battle Saint bone has finally returned to its rightful owner. You have the bloodline of the Battle Saint tribe flowing in your veins. It should be very easy for you to merge with it. Back then, the Time Dao bone that the Time King imparted to him was already able to merge with his body. There was no need to talk about how the Battle Saint bone resonated with the people of the Battle Saint tribe when it appeared like they were connected by blood. Qin Wentian waved his hand as the Dao bone flew towards Emperor Yu. When Qiyu heard how Qin Wentian addressed him, his heart heated up. He nodded solemnly and stared ahead. After that, specks of light radiated from his body as his blood surged. Numerous bloodlines shot out from his body, gradually enveloping the Dao bone. That Dao bone seemed to have sensed something and directly transformed into a beam of light that drilled into Qiyu's body. In the next instant, the blood in Qiyu's body churned frenziedly, akin to overturning the seas and rivers. His blood was like a raging ocean, roaring and crashing into his body, cleansing his flesh and blood. His body was undergoing a miraculous transformation bit by bit. It was as though his blood was about to be reconstructed, and his bones were about to transform. A startling battle intent gushed forth from his body. Qiyu roared as though he was enduring an intense pain. He closed his eyes and clenched his fists tightly as the green veins on his body bulged, undergoing a shocking transformation. Qin Wentian stared at Qiyu. The experts of the Battle Saint tribe were all staring at Qiyu as well. Was this the might of the Saint Bone? The Saint Bone that belonged to their Battle Saint tribe had returned, erupting forth with an incomparable might. Time slowly flowed by as Qiyu's body underwent a transformation as well. His long hair turned even darker, as black as ink. His skin seemed to have been reborn, radiating a jade-white glow. The contours of his face became even more distinct and his countenance also became younger. His entire demeanor was also undergoing a transformation. At this moment, a dazzling light erupted forth. A rune actually appeared in Qiyu's body. This rune was incomparably resplendent, containing the might of a Dao within it. It expanded in size and fused together with Qiyu's body. After that, countless runes of the Battle Saint tribe floated out as a battle intent soared up into the clouds, radiating outwards in a radius of 10,000 miles. Qin Wentian and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe only felt a terrifying force bearing down on them. Their bodies were involuntarily being pushed back by this force. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. His body similarly gushed forth with a powerful might, resisting that pushing force. Only then was he able to stabilize his footing. Qiyu inclined his head. His eyes opened and in an instant, the runes of the Battle Saint tribe soared up into the clouds, wanting to fight against the heavens. Qiyu opened his mouth and let out a roar, causing the clouds in the sky to disperse. The entire space trembled and many experts from the Battle Saint tribe directly fell to the ground as the qi and blood in their bodies churned wildly. However, there was no resentment in their eyes, only a fanaticism. Was this the might of the Saint Bone? The Saint Bone of their Battle Saint tribe. Finally, that aura gradually calmed down as the boundless light returned to Qiyu's body. His eyes were like lightning, sharper than before. He stood there like a god of battle, unexcelled in the world. Saint Lord. Qiyu's eyes flickered with excitement as he called out to Qin Wentian. Even though he underwent a transformation, his attitude towards Qin Wentian hadn't changed at all. The Saint Lord had given him everything. After the Saint Bone entered his body, he finally understood how strong the Saint Bone of their Battle Saint tribe was. This was something that belonged to their tribe. Even if the Divine Ox tribe snatched it away and passed it on to their descendants, only by returning it would it be able to unleash its true radiance. Uncle Qi, how do you feel? Qin Wentian smiled as he asked. Qiyu had truly undergone a transformation. If it wasn't for him personally seeing the changes in Qiyu's body, or if it was a long time since they last met, Qin Wentian wouldn't even dare to recognize him. Qi Yu's eyes flashed with a radiant smile. I finally understand why the Battle Saint tribe weakened after losing the Saint Bone. Only a Saint Bone can contain the true Battle Saint art. This isn't merely a Dao Bone. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Seems like there were more miraculous things above the Battle Saint Bone. However, he didn't want to ask about this. As long as Qi Yu could become stronger, it was already sufficient. He could only hope that the Battle Saint tribe would be able to return to their former glory. The experts of the Battle Saint tribe all had expressions of excitement on their faces. Seems like Qi Yu was no longer the Qi Yu of the past. He had truly undergone a complete transformation. Saint Lord, the people of our tribe have always followed you. However, within our tribe, there hasn't been a Battle Saint tribe leader yet. Is it possible for us to appoint Qi Yu as our tribe leader? An expert from the Battle Saint tribe suggested. Sure, if Uncle Qi has no objections. Qin Wentian smiled. Qi Yu stared at his tribe members. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Right now, he was the future hope of the Battle Saint tribe. Right? Qi Yu nodded. He was willing to become the Battle Saint tribe leader. He hoped that under his leadership, the Battle Saint tribe would be able to return to its former glory. After his transformation, he suddenly felt extremely confident. In addition, the Saint Lord was still around. Alright, you guys continue chatting. I will leave first. Qin Wentian stared at the people of the Battle Saint tribe as a smile appeared on his face. After that, his silhouette flashed as he directly departed. Helping the Battle Saint tribe to retrieve the Battle Saint Bone could also be considered fulfilling one of his wishes. In the future, he would have to see how far Qi Yu could reach. After Qin Wentian left, he went to the side of Qing'er and Qingcheng. Qing'er's beautiful eyes had a strange look in them as she stared at Qin Wentian. This caused Qin Wentian to blink. Qingcheng, why are you looking at me like that? You just returned and you immediately gathered the Battle Saint tribe. Did many things happen in the desolate region? This fellow transmitted his voice to her, telling her that everything was fine. However, she naturally wouldn't believe him. Even if there was danger, Qin Wentian wouldn't tell her about it. Silly lass. Qin Wentian stared at Mo Qingcheng, his gaze filled with gentleness. He gently stroked her face. This time around, some things did happen in the desolate region. I met with my grandfather and he's very good. Although he isn't good with words, I can sense his concern for me. Also my uncle Lair and the others are all very good. As for why I gathered the Battle Saint tribe, it's because I helped them to retrieve a treasure that belonged to the Battle Saint tribe. That's all? Don't think that just because I don't know what happened in the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms, you can fool me. Mo Qingcheng glared at Qin Wentian. How would I dare to fool my Qingcheng? Qin Wentian smiled. Mo Qingcheng stared at him suspiciously. Upon seeing how adorable Mo Qingcheng was, Qin Wentian held her face and directly kissed her. Mo Qingcheng opened her eyes. Her face instantly turned red as she glanced at Qi-er who was behind her. I didn't see anything. Qing-er spoke in a melodious voice. After that, she turned around. Qin Wentian stared in astonishment at this scene before he started laughing uproariously. When did Qing-er become so adorable? Senior brother, you are back. An untimely voice drifted over from outside. It was Jun Mengchen. Qin Wentian rolled his eyes. This fellow really knew how to rush things. He walked out and stared at the excited Jun Mengchen as he asked, Mengchen, why are you so happy? Senior brother, I heard that you are back. During this period of time, my strength improved greatly under the guidance of a heavenly deity. My comprehension of the Tao has also deepened. Since senior brother's comprehension is deeper than mine, we can discuss it together. Jun Mengchen spoke. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded. Just nice, he also had many comprehensions and wanted to share them with Jun Mengchen and the others. He then spoke, Qing-er, go and call Yu Huang by Qing and the others. We will discuss the Tao and ancient Azure Mystic today. Good idea. Jun Mengchen's eyes brightened with excitement. After that, Qin Wentian and the others gathered their friends to share their comprehensions. Naturally, most of the time it was Qin Wentian who shared his insights with them. The situation in the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms changed. Ancient Azure Mystic, which was once a world-ending battlefield, was now peaceful and tranquil. The river of time flowed unceasingly. Ancient Azure mystic passed peacefully. Qin Wentian once again entered closed-door seclusion. As his comprehension of his cultivation deepened, the amount of time he needed to comprehend was also increasing. Back then when he fought against Qin Zhong, he benefited greatly. He needed to properly comprehend and see if he would have a chance to pry into the legendary path, the path of heavenly deities. In the blink of an eye many years passed. Many major events happened in the supreme ancient immortal realms. Other than the chaos in the desolate region, the Ziwei Divine Court and the Great Devil Divine Palace in the Mystic region weren't at peace either. Over at the Qin clan, it was rumored that after Heaven's son Qin Dang Tian was humiliated in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he finally came out after many years of closed-door seclusion. His strength grew even more terrifying compared to the past. Right now, even powerful heavenly deities would find it hard to deal with him. This was a character who defeated Luo Xinyu when he just broke through to the heavenly deity realm, causing the three heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy to admit that they were inferior. Other than Heaven's son Qin Dang Tian, there were some people who were exceptionally eye-catching in the supreme ancient immortal realms. Among them, the most dazzling was undoubtedly Reverend Seven Abstinences from the Pure Land of Bliss. Not long ago, he had already proven his Tao and stepped into the legendary realm that countless people looked up to. In addition, there were rumors saying that his comprehension abilities were extraordinary. There were people saying that back then in the world of reincarnation in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the person who entered the legendary place was none other than Reverend Seven Abstinences. However, not long after, Reverend Seven Abstinences, who had broken through to the heavenly deity realm, actually personally denied it, telling the world that he didn't enter the legendary place. Someone else did. Many people were shocked. This was something that even Reverend Seven Abstinences couldn't accomplish. Who could it be exactly? Could it be Qin Wentian? There were also some rumors in the supreme ancient immortal realm saying that back then when Qin Zhong hunted down Qin Wentian in the desolate region, his death had nothing to do with heavenly deities. He was killed by Qin Wentian alone. Qin Wentian was a true supreme character who had entered the legendary place in the world of reincarnation. However, when this rumor was circulated out, countless people laughed at him. Qin Wentian's talent was very high and many people acknowledged it. But a world overlord killing a heavenly deity? Was this a joke? Chapter 1873. The Eastern Royal Immortal Realms controlled by the Ziwei Divine Court have been plunged into misery and suffering after so many years. It was unknown how many people died mysteriously, and the main culprit of all this was now in an exquisite chamber of the Eastern Royal Palace, enjoying the taste of a beauty. Yu Changkong stood up and stared at the jade-white body on the bed. His evil eyes flashed with a wondrous feeling. As for Dong Huangying, her eyes were empty, filled with hatred as she stared at Yu Changkong. During these years she lived a life worse than death. She wanted to kill Yu Changkong countless times but she couldn't do it. Yu Changkong was too powerful. She tried again and again only to be trampled on again and again. She lived in regret every day. Back then she provoked this devil. Not only did he humiliate her, he also humiliated many beauties in the Eastern Royal Palace. As for the men who opposed him, they all died. Right now, Yu Changkong was the absolute authority in the Eastern Royal Palace. Only those who submitted to him would be able to occupy high positions. Right now, those in control of the Eastern Royal Palace were all his lackeys. So many years have passed but you are still so beautiful. Yu Changkong's aura changed again compared to the past. He became even more evil. His face was pale white and his fingertips slid across the fair body before him. When he sensed that wondrous feeling, a look of intoxication appeared on his face. How beautiful! Are you still human now? Dong Huangying stared at Yu Changkong in humiliation. Her tone was so cold that it could pierce the bones. However, Yu Changkong didn't care. He smiled at the woman before him and didn't reply. After that, he turned and departed. Dong Huangying wore her clothes and walked outside. She came to the sacrificial altar of the Eastern Royal Palace. This was the place where the heavenly deities of the Ziwei Divine Court were worshipped. She would come here every day and today was no exception. She knelt before the sacrificial altar and had a sincere look on her face. Although it has been so many years, she didn't give up. This was her only hope. Yu Changkong knew that she would come here every day, but he had never stopped her. The Ziwei Divine Court? If the heavenly deities of the Ziwei Divine Court came, they wouldn't have waited until today. All of this was tacitly permitted by the Ziwei Divine Court. Every time Yu Changkong thought of this, his heart would turn incomparably cold. Dong Huangying knelt 3 times and kowtowed 9 times, praying in front of the altar. She sincerely spoke, "If heavenly deities can hear my voice, please come down to the lower realms and take a look at the current Eastern Royal Immortal Realms." Boom! In the air, a thunderous boom suddenly rang out, shaking the heavens and earth. A beam of light appeared in the air as the silhouette of a deity bathed in boundless light descended from the sky. Dong Huangying was stunned when she saw this scene. After that, a look of wild joy appeared on her face as she kowtowed with all her might. Heavenly deity! Did the heavenly deities of the Ziwei Divine Court finally descend? At this moment, countless people in the Eastern Royal Palace trembled. Those who were enslaved by Yu Changkong all had looks of joy on their faces as hope appeared in their hearts. As for those who followed Yu Changkong, their eyes were filled with fear. Clearly, they also knew what they had done during these years. Yu Changkong! A voice rang out from the sky as divine might bore down. Yu Changkong's silhouette flashed as he appeared in the air, staring up at the heavenly deity who just descended. He knelt in the air. His hands and feet were parallel to each other as he spoke with incomparable sincerity and respect. "Disciple Yu Changkong pays my respects to Master. Yu Changkong, you said that you would govern the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms well. Is this the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms you have governed?" The heavenly deity in the air coldly spoke. His voice was like heavenly might, ringing out in the ears of everyone. At this moment, tears flowed down Dong Huangying's face. Did she finally see the heavenly deity? Right now, a heavenly deity has descended and punished Yu Changkong. That devil was finally going to get his retribution. "Master, disciple has been working hard to govern the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms well through these years." Yu Changkong knelt there as he spoke. "You still dare to be stubborn?" The heavenly deity's expression was cold. After that, he glanced at Dong Huangying and asked, "Seems like I was careless and caused such a calamity to befall me. What happened in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms during these years?" Heavenly deity, during these years, Yu Changkong has committed all sorts of evil deeds in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms, killing the people of the Donghuang clan. Those who follow him will live, those who oppose him will die. Also, he is incomparably cruel, using the lives of all living beings in the world to cultivate his evil methods. It's unknown how many people died because of this, and many cities were turned into ghost cities. Dong Huangying's tears flowed as she complained. The expression of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court grew colder and colder. He stared at Yu Changkong. "I didn't expect that a vile creature like you would actually commit such heinous crimes here. Vile creature, do you deserve to die?" "Master, disciple will never commit such crimes again in the future. Master, please spare my life." Yu Changkong's body trembled as he knelt and begged for mercy. "If I knew this would happen, I would have taken your life back then. Who would have thought that my moment of benevolence would result in such a calamity?" The heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court coldly spoke. At this moment, constellation light descended from the sky, forming a terrifying constellation formation that enveloped Yu Changkong. The boundless constellation light instantly seeped into Yu Changkong's body as a terrifying emperor might gushed forth from the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court. "Master, please spare my life." Yu Changkong screamed in terror. However, there was only coldness in the eyes of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court. The constellation light seeped into his body, causing Yu Changkong's body to gradually dissipate. It felt like he was about to be absorbed into the constellation light, entering the body of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court. In the blink of an eye, Yu Changkong's body completely vanished from this world. Upon seeing this scene, Dong Huangying sat on the ground as tears flowed down her face. Has that devil finally died? Everything is finally coming to an end. I will send people to the lower world to reorganize the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. The heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court spoke. However, at the instant his voice faded. His expression suddenly changed. A moment later, a gray sky appeared in the air. In the boundless space of the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms, strands of gray energy flowed over, resembling death chi. These gray energy currents frenziedly flowed towards the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court. What demon-level creature are you? The heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court roared. Master, how can you treat your disciple like this? A voice drifted over from the void. The expression of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court suddenly changed, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. How could this be possible? Yu Changkong was struck by his divine art. How could he still be alive? Master, you intentionally left me alive until today before killing me. Do you think this disciple doesn't know your purpose? The so-called Ziwei divine art can also be an evil art with a divine will. You knew that I obtained this evil art in the world of reincarnation, and also wanted to obtain it. Hence, you allowed me to come to the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms, allowing me to comprehend it until now. Only when I'm about to comprehend my divine will did you come here to seize everything from me, wanting to take it for yourself. Master is what disciple said, right? Yu Changkong's voice was very soft, yet it felt extremely bizarre. The entire world seemed to be immersed in a strange atmosphere. When Dong Huangying heard Yu Changkong's voice, her face turned pale. How could this be possible? Why hasn't he died yet? In addition, when she heard Yu Changkong's words, a look of deep despair appeared on her face. Could it be that all of this was tacitly approved by the heavenly deity? A lofty heavenly deity could only watch as Yu Changkong wreaked havoc in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. It was all for the sake of Yu Changkong, and after that, they wanted to seize everything from him. Was this really a lofty heavenly deity? Vile creature, scram out of my body. The heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court coldly spoke. Ha ha! An extremely evil laughter rang through the air. From the boundless regions of the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms, countless strands of gray energy that resembled ghosts flew over, frenziedly entering the body of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court. Gradually, a gigantic face actually appeared behind the head of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court. This was none other than the face of Yu Changkong, an evil gray face. Master, today disciple is sacrificing myself to seek the Tao. For the sake of the true intent of the great Tao, many thanks to Master for helping disciple take the final step. The evil face behind the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court actually spoke in a human voice. Yu Changkong's physical body was already destroyed. It could indeed be said that he was sacrificing himself to seek the Tao. His purpose was to enter his master's soul. He had long since understood his master's cultivation methods, and had already guessed what his master would do to him. He cultivated so frenziedly because he wanted a chance to fight for his life before his master acted against him. Even after his master appeared, he still knelt and begged for mercy. Because if he didn't beg, he wouldn't have the chance to enter his master's soul and execute the Tao he comprehended. It was impossible for him to kill a heavenly deity like his master. A vile creature that can even sacrifice his physical body, yet you still dare to have such wishful thinking. The heavenly deity coldly spoke. Boundless violet divine light cascaded down from the sky, transforming into resplendent light that illuminated the sky. It was like a divine art, penetrating through the heavenly deity's body and into his soul. Yu Changkong's illusory face started trembling unstably. Ever since Master punished me back then, I've already offered my body to the devil. Right now, all the vengeful souls in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms can be used by me. Since I've already reached this step, it's impossible for me to fail. Yu Changkong opened his mouth and roared. In the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms, countless souls frenziedly flew over, unceasingly stabilizing Yu Changkong's illusory face and corroding the soul of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei divine court. Below, countless people felt their bodies turning cold when they saw this scene. One was a lofty heavenly deity, while the other was a disciple of a heavenly deity. Their conversation caused countless people to feel a bone-piercing chill. Very cold. Was this the world of cultivation? It was actually so cruel and terrifying. A heavenly deity was like this, a heavenly deity's disciple was like this as well. Dong Huangying also felt her body turning cold. So it turned out that the heavenly deity had always been aware of everything that happened in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. He only wanted to nurture Yu Changkong and take him for himself. As for Yu Changkong, he could no longer be considered a human. How ridiculous! The heavenly deity she begged for so many years Was there any difference between him and Yu Changkong? He was also the main culprit behind the nightmare of the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. At this moment, she involuntarily thought back to the radiant face she saw in the convention back then. That person had once warned her to be careful of Yu Changkong. Why didn't she listen to him back then? Right now, Dong Huangying's heart was like dead ashes. Even the shocking battle between Yu Changkong and the heavenly deity in the air didn't interest her at all. No matter who won or lost, what meaning was there to her? Her heart had already died. After a very long time, the terrifying battle in the air finally concluded. Yu Changkong's gray figure vanished. The heavenly deity of the Ziwei Divine Court stood arrogantly in the air. But at this moment, an evil malevolent smile flashed in his eyes as he spoke in an impudent voice. Finally, I succeeded. This voice actually sounded like Yu Changkong's voice. After that, the face of the heavenly deity gradually twisted and transformed into Yu Changkong's face. His master wanted to seize everything from him. Wasn't he the same as well? You ask me if I'm a human or not. Let me tell you now, I'm not a human. I'm a god. Yu Changkong stared at Dong Huangying below as a sinister smile appeared on his face. That pitiful master of his was too arrogant. Now he has paid the price for everything he did in the past. Chapter 1874. The Eastern Royal Immortal Realms was a lower world governed by the Ziwei Divine Court. However, it was impossible for such a major incident to be hidden. After all, the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms weren't sealed like Azure Mystic. People from the upper worlds would also travel to the lower worlds. A piece of news circulated through the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. First, it spread to the Mystic region. After that, it caused great waves of commotion. Yu Changkong devoured his master. In addition, it was because his master, a heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court, coveted his evil art and wanted to seize his soul. This was the reason why Yu Changkong retaliated against him. To the Ziwei Divine Court, this was an absolute scandal. The Ziwei Divine Court wanted to suppress this news, but they couldn't stop the speed at which it circulated. However, many people were curious. How did Yu Changkong accomplish this? How could he kill a heavenly deity? After that, everything Yu Changkong did in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms was exposed. After he came out from the world of reincarnation, he relied on the evil art he comprehended to refine countless lives in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. Initially, it was impossible for the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court to die in Yu Changkong's hands. However, his greed caused Yu Changkong to enter his soul. After that, Yu Changkong suffered a backlash from the millions of souls Yu Changkong had refined, causing the heavenly deity's body to be occupied. After that, Yu Changkong entered the Ziwei Divine Court. It was said that a deity-level battle erupted in the Ziwei Divine Court, and after that, Yu Changkong officially replaced his master, becoming one of the rulers of the Ziwei Divine Court. This once again caused a huge commotion. No one knew the exact details behind Yu Changkong entering the Ziwei Divine Court, but the Ziwei Divine Court actually accepted Yu Changkong. Yu Changkong's actions in the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms were already considered a great sin. Although many heavenly deities weren't as dazzling as they appeared on the surface and had dirty histories, they would still show some taboo on the surface and wouldn't commit any great sins. After the Great Devil Divine Palace learned of this matter, they started to humiliate the Ziwei Divine Court, saying that they weren't worthy to have a foothold in the Mystic region and were on the same level as the Great Devil Divine Palace. Both parties originally already had many conflicts, and it was very normal for the Great Devil Divine Palace to say such things during this period of time. But after that, those who said such things all died mysteriously. In fact, there were even several world overlords from the Great Devil Divine Palace who were killed unknowingly. This matter completely infuriated the Great Devil Divine Palace, and the conflict between them grew even more intense. It seemed like the profound domain was about to fall into chaos. But no matter how the people of the world cursed him, their thoughts about Yu Changkong were extremely complicated. One couldn't help but say that the person who was once mocked by the people of the world was actually walking on the path of a heretical god. From a certain perspective, the current Yu Changkong has already achieved what he wanted. He stepped into the heavenly deity realm, a realm that countless people yearned for. Even if the people of the world despised him, if Yu Changkong truly appeared before them, who would dare to show any disrespect? This news circulated through the supreme ancient immortal realms. Luo Shenlei, who was in the desolate region, naturally knew about it. After that, she transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian about this. Qin Wentian also didn't expect that Yu Changkong would actually devour a god and replace him, using an evil method to step into the heavenly deity realm. He sighed in his heart at how terrifying the world of reincarnation was. He had also cultivated evil arts before and knew that although the evil arts of the world of reincarnation couldn't be used directly in the outside world, they could still be used as a reference. In addition, cultivating evil arts in the world of reincarnation allowed one to see one's true heart. Yu Changkong had completely unleashed the evil side of his heart. In the words of the cultivation world, Yu Changkong's Tao heart was extremely resilient and incomparably stable, surpassing countless people. Even if he refined billions of lives, he wouldn't feel any guilt at all. He had already completely lost his humanity. Such a Tao was truly terrifying. Qin Wentian then thought of the mysterious white-robed young man he met in the legendary place. What sort of existence was he exactly to be able to create a world of reincarnation that seemed to know the will of the heavens? Yu Changkong was merely a typical example among the geniuses who entered the world of reincarnation. In truth, before him, Reverend Seven Abstinences had already completed his Tao and entered the heavenly deity realm. Most probably, there would be a few more terrifying characters among the other geniuses. Back then, Qin Dangtian forcefully entered the sacred academy for the sake of entering the legendary place. The three heavenly deities didn't want him to enter the legendary place because they were worried about him. Given Qin Dangtian's supreme talent and his heavenly deity cultivation base, if he entered the world of reincarnation, he didn't know what would happen. But in the end, Qin Dangtian chose to give up because he wouldn't allow any power to destroy his Tao. Elder brother, you have to be careful of Yu Changkong. He has already completely lost his mind. I heard that during these years, Dong Huangying has been living in humiliation. After he returned to the Ziwei Divine Court, his martial uncle and senior brothers were also in a miserable state. The person Yu Changkong hates the most is most probably you, elder brother. Luo Shenlei, who was currently conversing with Qin Wentian, reminded. Her elder brother was like Yu Changkong's nemesis. Back then, during the convention of the Myriad Realms, Yu Changkong was defeated by her elder brother. After they exited the convention, it was the same. In the world of reincarnation, it was still the same. I know. If it wasn't for me, Yu Changkong wouldn't be able to become who he is today. Qin Wentian sighed. This was the karma of the world. If it wasn't for him, Yu Changkong would be a genius of the Ziwei Divine Court now, enjoying boundless glory. He wouldn't be so evil. Humans are like this, they would be exposed sooner or later. Even without elder brother, it would still be the same. Luo Shenlei spoke. Naturally, Yu Changkong relied on despicable methods to devour deities. Elder brother, you have also killed heavenly deities before. I believe that in the future you will still be his nemesis. Elder brother, when will you step into the deity realm? How would I know? I keep feeling that I'm still lacking something. Qin Wentian smiled. It wasn't so easy to step into the deity realm. Right now, his comprehension of the Tao has already reached an extremely high level. In fact, he even comprehended some of the methods of heavenly deities. However, he still felt that he was lacking a little. Maybe, the time for good fortune hasn't arrived yet. Oh, is that so? Luo Shenlei seemed to be mumbling to herself. Although they were separated by a vast distance, Qin Wentian could still sense something. He asked Lei do you have something you want to tell me? Let me think about it. Luo Shenlei giggled. Lei, don't hide anything from me. Qin Wentian spoke again. Could it be that something happened in the desolate region? Nothing. Luo Shenlei replied. It's just that something happened in the heaven region. I'm hesitating if I should tell elder brother about it or not. What's the matter? Qin Wentian asked. Luo Shenlei fell silent for a moment before she replied. The heaven vault has opened. Heaven vault. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. This name was the name of a secret realm in the supreme ancient immortal realms. It was a legendary secret realm, and he had only seen it once before. It was in the Heavenly Tao Library in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. However, he had a deep impression of it. Because this secret realm named Heaven Vault was the place where two heavenly deities, Qin Tiangang and his wife, died. As for Qin Tiangang and his wife, they were his grandfather and grandmother. It was precisely because of the death of his grandfather and grandmother that his father became an orphan, causing his father's status in the clan to be far inferior to Qin Zheng's. This caused the Qin clan's divine hall, which was once extremely prosperous, to become desolate and desolate. Qin Wentian naturally understood what kind of impact the death of two heavenly deities would have on the status of the Qin clan. The martial world was an extremely realistic one. If it wasn't for the death of Qin Tiangang and his wife, the history of the Qin clan might have been rewritten. Right now, the secret realm where his grandparents died, the Heaven Vault had opened. In other words, the entrance to the Heaven Vault had appeared. No wonder Luo Xunlei was hesitating. Clearly, she knew some things and was worried that given Qin Wentian's personality, he might enter the Heaven Vault to take a look. Elder brother, I heard Grandpa saying that your grandparents died when they barged into the Heaven Vault. Luo Xunlei softly spoke. Later earlier when you asked me when I would break through to the heavenly deity realm, were you trying to probe me? Qin Wentian sighed. Do you not want to tell me? Initially, I didn't want to tell elder brother. I was afraid that you would go there after knowing about it. After all, the Heaven Vault is a place where even heavenly deities might die if they aren't careful. But if I don't tell you, you would surely blame me if you knew about it in the future. Luo Xunlei felt a little wronged. From the perspective of emotions, she wanted to hide this from Qin Wentian. Silly lass. Qin Wentian smiled. That is the Heaven Vault. There are dangers, but could it be that there aren't any opportunities? Also, I've read about the Heaven Vault in the ancient records in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Every time the Heaven Vault opens, there would be many experts entering. Although there would be heavenly deities dying there, the probability is very low. My grandparents might have died because they entered too deep and entered a place they shouldn't have. Elder brother, you can't really be thinking of going there, right? Luo Xunlei felt a sense of unease when she heard Qin Wentian's tone. As expected, after her elder brother learned of the news, he immediately had some thoughts. If she knew this would happen, she wouldn't have said anything. I'll set off now and prepare to head to the heaven region. Qin Wentian spoke. Luo Xunlei was speechless. She called out, Elder brother, let's do it like this. I'm preparing to set off. I've always wanted to head to the heaven region to take a look. Also, in the future I will eventually have to step into that place. I might as well take this opportunity to head there. Qin Wentian spoke. The 8 regions of the supreme ancient immortal realms, heaven, earth, mystic, yellow, cosmos, chaos, desolate, and the heaven region were located in the middle. The powerful Qin clan was located in the heaven region. Just like what he said, he would definitely step into that place in the future. But now he had to head there in advance. Wentian. Just when Qin Wentian wanted to keep his messaging crystal, a tender voice rang out. Qin Wentian started, Little rascal, why do you have the time to think of me? Are your days on the Demon God Mountain very enjoyable? That's true. I'm the one and only heaven-devouring demon king. I heard from Layer that you want to head to the heaven region. Since the Demon God Mountain is heading there as well, I'm preparing to go together with you. Little rascal spoke. With just you? Qin Wentian spoke in disdain. You better stay by the demon sovereign's side and cultivate for a period of time. Damn it. You dare to look down on me? Wentian, I'm very strong now. You better not lose to me in the future. Little rascal boasted. Fine, as long as the demon sovereign doesn't have any objections, it's up to you. I really want to see how strong you are now. Qin Wentian laughed. It has been many years since he last saw Little Rascal. Cultivating by the side of the heaven-devouring demon sovereign was indeed the most suitable place for him. He should have undergone a transformation, right? Chapter 1875. The supreme ancient immortal realms were boundlessly vast. It was unknown how far the distance between the various regions was. However, there were many supreme spatial arrays in the supreme ancient immortal realms that could allow one to travel across regions. In Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were spirit arrays that led to the various domains. Of course, Tiandao Sacred Academy was not the only one that had them. Hence, after the news of the opening of the Heaven Vault circulated out, experts from the various immortal realms all headed towards the location of the Heaven Vault. The commotion caused by Yu Chongkong in the immortal realms faded away. The attention of the Heaven Vault was diverted away. The Heaven Vault was one of the most famous secret realms in the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. Even now, the people of the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms had no idea what sort of existence the Heaven Vault was. They also didn't know what rules the Heaven Vault had when it opened. There were rumors saying that the Heaven Vault was connected to the outside world. There were also rumors saying that the Heaven Vault was a ruin left behind by a god king from ancient times. All sorts of rumors added a mysterious hue to the Heaven Vault. However, there was no need to doubt one thing. The Heaven Vault contained good fortune as well as danger. Every time the Heaven Vault opened, there would be people who obtained great fortune. At the same time, there would also be experts who died. In fact, if heavenly deities took too many risks, they might even die. The most shocking incident was many years ago when the Qin clan's immortal couple, Qin Tiangang and his wife, died. These two heaven-shaking immortal companions vanished from the Heaven Vault, causing their bloodline to fall into desolation. This caused Qin Yuanfeng to become a traitor of the Qin clan. Some of the elders who have lived for many years couldn't help but sigh in their hearts when they thought of this period of history. The opening of the Heaven Vault was in the Boundless Sea. This sea region could truly be said to be boundless. It was unknown how vast it was. On the other side of the Boundless Sea coast, there was Boundless City, a majestic city built by the sea. The experts there were as many as the clouds. Right now, it was unknown how many experts have arrived in this ancient city that has existed for countless years. Most probably, even heavenly deities would come here wanting to take a look at the Heaven Vault. There was a heavenly deity in Boundless City. Although he didn't establish a power and was only an unaffiliated heavenly deity, his status in Boundless City was still transcendent. Many people who came to Boundless City would pay a visit to him. However, this heavenly deity didn't like crowds and would rarely meet with juniors. Hence, very few people were able to meet with this heavenly deity. But today, this god of heaven had prepared a banquet at home to welcome guests. This heavenly god was none other than deity Chu. And the guest he welcomed was the Qin clan's patriarch, Qin Zheng. As the patriarch of the powerful Qin clan, Qin Zheng rarely paid a visit to others. But today, he actually came to Boundless City to pay a visit to deity Chu. At the banquet in Chu Shun's residence, not only was Qin Zheng present, his son, the heaven son of the heaven region, Qin Dangtian, was present as well. Right now, Chu Shun had no descendants. Back then when he was roaming the Heaven Vault, he died and left behind a daughter. This daughter was none other than Chu Shun's granddaughter, the number one beauty of the heaven region, Goddess Nikhang. Goddess Nikhang was also at the banquet. It's been a long time since I've come to visit Uncle Chu. Now that I see that you're doing well, I can finally relax a little. Before I came here, I met with my father. My father told me to tell you that he misses Uncle Chu, said Qin Zheng. His father was Qin Ding. You're too kind. Chu Shun slightly nodded. Even though Qin Zheng was behaving like a junior to him, he knew in his heart that regardless of whether it was status, identity, or strength, this young man before him had already surpassed him. As the Qin clan leader, just by relying on this identity, it was already a great honor for Qin Zheng to pay a visit to him. A single sentence from Qin Zheng could cause the entire immortal realms to tremble. That's what I should do. Oh right, Uncle Chu, how are your injuries? Qin Zheng asked in concern. If people in the outside world knew about this, they would surely be shocked. Chu Shun, who was a heavenly deity, actually had injuries on his body, and he had yet to fully recover after so many years. Same as before, but I can still suppress them. I have to thank Brother Qin Ding for sending divine medicines to me every year. Chu Shun nodded. That's good. Qin Zheng nodded. After that, his gaze landed on Goddess Nikhang as he smiled. Nikhang is growing more and more beautiful. As expected of the number one beauty of our heaven region, your talent is also first-rate. In addition, you are the descendant of Brother Chu. In the entire heaven region, there aren't many people who are a match for you. These words of praise caused Chu Shun to understand that the main topic was probably here. Qin Zheng, the Qin clan leader, personally came here to pay a visit. It wasn't just for a simple reason. My son Dangtian is known as the Heaven's Son. There's no need to say anything about his talent. This brat's eyes are at the top of his head, and in the vast immortal realms, it's rare for there to be a few people he would look favorably upon. Only Brother Chu's daughter remains in his mind. This can also be considered fate. Right now, Dang Tian has already attained the Tao for many years, and Nikhang has also reached the peak of the world overlord realm. Uncle Chu, Qin Zheng, is thick-skinned and came here to propose marriage. Qin Zheng smiled as he toasted Chu Shun. His purpose for coming here was precisely to propose marriage. After all, the marriage of his son was a major matter. He still had to give Chu Shun face. Chu Shun wasn't surprised by this. He had long guessed that this was the reason why Qin Zheng came here. If not, Qin Zheng wouldn't have intentionally made a trip to see him. Turning his gaze to his granddaughter Nikhang, Chu Shun sighed in his heart. Although from an emotional point of view, he didn't wish for Nikhang to marry Qin Dangtian. But from an analysis of logic, maybe this was a good ending for Nikhang. Qin Dangtian, Heaven's son, a supreme talent, the future leader of the Qin clan. If Nikhang married Qin Dangtian, she would become the future mother of the Qin clan. Her future would undoubtedly be guaranteed. He also believed that Qin Dangtian wouldn't mistreat his granddaughter. After all, the number one beauty of the heaven region wasn't an undeserved reputation. For people in the world, no matter how high their cultivation bases were, who wouldn't love beauties? In addition, Qin Dangtian didn't have to choose between a mountain and a beauty. The Qin clan was a mountain, and to him, it was something he could easily obtain. As for beauties, the number one beauty of the heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, was undoubtedly his best choice. Hence, he left the choice to his granddaughter. Goddess Nichang's expression was very calm. There was no surprise nor joy, she was as calm as water. Her face was so beautiful. It was like nothing in the world would be able to move her heart. Qin Dangtian turned his gaze to Goddess Nikhang. His magnificence was unmatched, and there were only a few people in the world who could enter his eyes. But when he looked at the woman before him, he would always wonder when he would be able to make her smile. If she smiled, what would she look like? He had never seen her smile before. Maybe she was born like this, holy and perfect. She would never smile. Qin Dangtian mused in his heart. However, he didn't know that Goddess Nikhang had smiled before. There was someone who had seen her smile before. That day, in the world of reincarnation, under the rainbow. Sadly, Qin Dangtian didn't have the chance to see such a beautiful scene. Seeing that Goddess Nikhang didn't say anything, Qin Zheng spoke. Before this, a few members of my Qin clan once said some dirty words to Dangtian, implicating the descendants of that younger brother of mine. Now I've brought them here as well. After Qin Zheng spoke, he turned his head and coldly spoke. Why are you still not scramming over? Kneel down and apologize. At the side, 3 world overlords from the Qin clan had pale expressions, but they still walked out. They actually knelt to Goddess Nikhang. The 3 of us have offended Miss Nikhang before. We beg for Miss Nichang's forgiveness. They once had evil intentions towards Goddess Nikhang, because they cultivated an evil art in the world of reincarnation. After they came out, they intentionally told Qin Dangtian that Goddess Nikhang had an affair with Qin Wentian. But clearly, they failed and the consequences were extremely miserable. The Qin clan leader, Qin Zheng, personally came to propose marriage. Goddess Nikhang would become the future matriarch of the Qin clan. Goddess Nikhang coldly glanced at the 3 of them. She naturally wouldn't complain to Qin Zheng that the 3 of them had ill intentions towards her. That wasn't her personality. She only coldly spoke, "Get out." The 3 of them started. They glanced at Qin Zheng only to hear Qin Zheng speaking. Why are you all still not scramming? Yes. The 3 of them bowed and left, feeling incomparably humiliated in their hearts. But so what of it? Before them, other than Heaven's son Qin Dangtian, there was still the Qin clan leader, Qin Zheng. He could decide their fates. Given Qin Zheng's prestige in the Qin clan, no one would dare to provoke him. Goddess Nikhang calmly watched this scene. Her beautiful eyes landed on Qin Dangtian before glancing at her grandfather. She was very clear about the matters between her grandfather and the Qin clan. Her grandfather had told her everything without hiding anything. In addition, she also knew what her grandfather's attitude towards this matter was. Her grandfather wasn't willing to marry her, but he still hoped that she would have a good ending. If not, she would be the source of trouble. After she learned of everything, she was also unwilling in her heart. However, when her beautiful eyes turned to Qin Dangtian, she still nodded lightly. Seeing her nod, smiles appeared in the eyes of Qin Zheng and Qin Dangtian. Good, good. Qin Zheng raised his wine cup and smiled. Although I have no fate to be friends with senior brother Chu, I would often hear my father mentioning him. I believe that if senior brother Chu could see the matters today, he would definitely feel gratified. After the banquet, Qin Zheng bid his farewell and left. Qin Dangtian left as well. After they left, the banquet turned silent. Only Chu Shen and Goddess Nikhang were still around. Chu Shen stared at his granddaughter and spoke, "You don't have to worry about me." Goddess Nichang's expression was calm, she didn't reply. Chu Shen continued, "You have met Yuanfeng's son before and interacted with him in the world of reincarnation. Between him and Qin Dangtian, who do you like more?" Goddess Nikhang blinked her beautiful eyes as she stared at her grandfather. Who did she like more? How was she supposed to reply? I must have been muddle-headed. Whose personality do you like more? Chu Shen smiled and shook his head. Goddess Nikhang thought of the young man she once met in the world of reincarnation as well as Qin Dangtian. She then spoke in a light voice. Qin Dangtian gives off a sense of distance. Chu Shan started when he heard Goddess Nichang's words. After that he laughed. Yeah, this phrase is very well used. A sense of distance. Qin Ding and Qin Zheng are the same as well. Compared to them, Tiangang and Yuanfeng, as he spoke, he sighed in his heart and shook his head. What a pity. Clearly, Chu Shen not only knew Qin Ding and Qin Zheng, he also knew Qin Tiangang and Qin Yuanfeng. Chapter 1876. The news of Heaven's son Qin Dangtian marrying the #1 beauty of the Heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, soon circulated around Boundless City. After all, Goddess Nikhang was staying in Boundless City. Countless people were envious, but they also felt that this was only natural. The Heaven's son and the #1 beauty of the Heaven region were too compatible. They were another celestial couple, causing everyone to feel envy in their hearts. However, there were also many people who felt disappointed. Goddess Nikhang was a goddess that couldn't be profaned. Would she eventually marry someone? Although they felt disappointed, many geniuses in Boundless City could only accept it. They knew that they would never be able to compare to Qin Dangtian regardless of status or talent. What a pity. The goddess in the hearts of countless geniuses in Boundless City would eventually have to marry into the Qin clan. In a top-grade inn in Boundless City, the experts from the 9 Heavens Mystical Palace also arrived. The mystical maiden personally came. Because she arrived, Lin Xiao arrived as well and came here to look for her. When he arrived, he smiled. Goddess Nikhang has agreed to the marriage with Qin Dangtian and will be marrying into the Qin clan. When will you agree to marry me? The people from the 9 Heavens Mystical Palace glared at Lin Xiao when they heard his words. The mystical maiden was the successor of the 9 Heavens Mystical Palace. She would never marry an outsider. Naturally, they understood Lin Xiao's personality very well. He was a magnanimous person and the people from the 9 Heavens Mystical Palace didn't hate him. Right now, Qin Wentian, who was already in Boundless City, also heard of this news. The news of Goddess Nichang's marriage caused a huge commotion in Boundless City. It would be difficult even if one didn't want to know about it. This time around he brought Qi Yu and Jun Mingchen with him. The two of them also wanted to roam the Heaven Vault together. After learning of this news, Jun Mingchen cursed in a low voice. What a pity. The #1 beauty in the world is actually going to marry that bastard. There was no need to doubt that after Qin Wentian's true identity was exposed, Jun Mingchen naturally wouldn't have any good impression of the Qin clan. This was especially so after he learned of what happened to Qin Wentian's father in the past. That was like his own hatred. As for Qin Dangtian, it could be said that Jun Mingchen was the son of the person who killed his senior brother's father. His attitude towards Qin Dangtian could very well be imagined. Qin Wentian also felt somewhat uncomfortable in his heart. In the world of reincarnation, although he didn't speak much with Goddess Nikhang, she did save him. Also, they had an experience together. Even now, he could still remember the beautiful scene after the thunderstorm. That beautiful silhouette standing at the peak of the mountain, illuminated by the rainbow. In his heart, he already treated Goddess Nikhang as his friend, even though they didn't have any interactions after they left the world of reincarnation. If Goddess Nikhang really married his enemy Qin Dangtian, in that case in the future, There would definitely be a fated battle between him and Qin Dangtian. At that time, how should he face goddess Nikhang? Qin Wentian felt somewhat complicated in his heart. The three of them arrived at the boundless sea coast. The boundless sea was truly boundless. In the sea region, the waves churned unceasingly. However, in the sky, a magnificent scene could be seen. At the point where the sea and the sky connected, the eye of heavens seemed to have appeared. This eye of heavens was like a crack in the sky, revealing an entrance to the heaven vault. Over there was none other than the heaven vault. That eye of heavens was none other than the entrance to the heaven vault. If one stood at the boundless sea coast and stared at the boundless sea region ahead, they would discover that there were people everywhere. From the boundless sea coast all the way to the sea region below the heaven vault, there were people everywhere. They floated on the surface of the sea, treading on the waves. Clearly, they were all experts who came here for the heaven vault. There are so many people. Jun Mingchen spoke. How vast was the sea? The heaven vault was located at the point where the sea and the sky connected. Although it seemed very close, it was unknown how far away it was. In such a vast stretch of sea region, one could see that there were people everywhere. From this, one could very well imagine how many experts had appeared on the boundless sea coast. Naturally, although there were many people here, those who truly had the courage to enter the heaven vault were most probably world overlords and heavenly deities. In the heaven vault, even deities would die. Although the possibility of this was very small, one could still see how dangerous the heaven vault was. Even world overlords would barely be able to enter the heaven vault. If the weaker ones entered, they wouldn't even know how they died, let alone obtaining any good fortune. A place that can attract heavenly deities, how can there not be many people here? Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Being able to attract heavenly deities meant that the vast majority of experts in the supreme ancient immortal realms were attracted. Those with lower cultivation bases wouldn't rush here from too far away. But for those with outstanding talent, most probably many of them would choose to come here, let alone the experts in the heaven region. Boom! In the air, a thunderous boom rang out as terrifying explosions rang out in the eardrums of everyone. A terrifying heavenly might descended from the sky, enveloping the boundless sea coast. After that, two groups of figures descended from the sky. One group radiated intense devil might. Their auras towered up into the sky. This was especially so for the person in the lead. He was like a devil god, standing there like a statue, exuding a devilish intent that towered up into the sky. The experts beside him were all at the world overlord level. The people from the great devil divine palace of the mystic region have arrived. A heavenly deity has personally arrived. Someone exclaimed in admiration. Who is the person standing opposite him? There is actually someone who dares to oppose the great devil divine palace? Towering evil might. Opposing the great devil divine palace. Could it be that you can't guess who it is? Someone at the side spoke in a light voice, staring at the pale-skinned demonic young man in the air. The expression of the person who spoke earlier trembled as he thought of someone. Great waves rose in his heart. Yu Chongkong. That person mumbled. That demon-level character who caused the lives of the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms to be plunged into misery and suffering, refining millions and millions of lives, has actually arrived. In addition, he actually came together with the people from the Great Devil Divine Palace. The moment they arrived, a conflict immediately erupted. From this, one could very well imagine how intense the conflict between the two hegemonic powers of the mystic region was. As expected, he is neither a human nor a ghost. This person is so evil, he no longer has any humanity. This is why he would commit such a heinous sin and suffer the wrath of the heavens. Someone below cursed in a low voice, unable to bear the sight of Yu Chongkong's character. An incomparably demonic smile appeared on Yu Chongkong's face. He turned his gaze downwards and his evil-looking eyes landed on the person who insulted him earlier. You even dare to insult a heavenly deity? Yu Chongkong laughed evilly. When that expert saw Yu Chongkong's smile, he was so frightened that his face turned pale. He didn't expect that Yu Chongkong would actually notice him. Because of a single sentence, Yu Chongkong's gaze locked onto him. Also, his smile was so evil like a devil. Only to see that in the air, streams of gray energy swept through the air, frenziedly penetrating the body of the person who spoke earlier. That person screamed in agony and very swiftly, only a skeleton was left. His flesh and blood had completely vanished, causing everyone to feel a chill in their hearts. Who else has any complaints about me? You can voice them out now. Yu Changkong laughed malevolently. His gaze swept towards the sea region below. Everyone was silent out of fear as their hearts trembled. Seeing everyone shutting up, an evil smile appeared on Yu Changkong's face. Evil cultivator? So what of it? If he could obtain supreme strength, he was willing to give up everything. One day, when he dominated the immortal realms, who would dare to show any disrespect to him? Powerful strength represented everything. He didn't need the respect of the people of the world. He preferred for the people of the world to fear him. Fear was the most terrifying thing. Just like how at this moment who dared to speak? Excellent. At this moment, a beam of treasure light suddenly appeared in the sky. After that, golden treasure light cascaded down from the sky. The boundless golden light gradually converged into a figure. It was a Buddhist grandmaster with a solemn and dignified appearance. His Dharma body traversed through the void and arrived. Everything in the world has karma. Yu Changkong, you have committed such great sins. In the future, you will surely face a calamity. The monk calmly spoke. Reverend 7 Abstinences truly bemoans the state of the universe and pity the fate of mankind. If karma really exists in this world, what's the point of cultivation? We can just wait for the cycle of karma. Yu Changkong had an evil smile on his face. As for facing the tribulation, who would want me to face it? Master? Reverend 7 Abstinences pressed his palms together and no longer looked at Yu Changkong. His golden body vanished as he flew towards the direction of the heaven vault. He didn't come here to argue with Yu Changkong. He came here for the heaven vault. Yu Changkong, you will suffer the consequences sooner or later. The devil god from the great devil divine palace coldly spoke. Yu Changkong laughed uproariously. When did devil cultivators change their personalities? They actually started to believe in the Buddha? The devil god flicked his sleeves and stepped out, not intending to argue any further. He led the experts from the great devil divine palace towards the heaven vault. When he walked past Yu Changkong, he asked, "Are you not going to enter the heaven vault? There's no need for you to worry about me. I'm still waiting for someone." Yu Changkong had a smile on his face. However, his smile seemed extremely evil no matter how one looked at it. Who? The devil god from the great devil divine palace asked. Reverend 7 Abstinences said that there's karma. If there's truly karma, the reason why I'm suffering today is because of the karma he planted in me back then. I naturally have to end this karma. Yu Changkong's smile was extremely cold. He knew that the person he was waiting for would definitely appear when the heaven vault opened. This was his premonition. In truth, the person he was waiting for was currently at the boundless sea coast. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at Yu Changkong in the air. His expression was cold. He didn't expect that Qin Wentian would succeed in his Tao. As for the person he was waiting for, it was clear that the person he was waiting for was none other than him, Qin Wentian. However, right now, he wasn't using his original appearance. Even for Jun Mengchen and Qiyu, they all use special methods to change their appearances. Qin Wentian didn't consider Yu Changkong, but the place he came from was the Heaven region, the territory of the Qin clan. If he used his original appearance, would he be tired of living? Senior brother, should we move out? Jun Mengchen transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. A person like Yu Changkong actually succeeded in his Tao by seizing someone else's body. This caused him to feel extremely unhappy. Yu Changkong was merely someone defeated by his senior brother. Yet he was so shameless to impersonate his senior brother and obtain the God King's inheritance. No rush. Let's see how many experts would enter the heaven vault first. Qin Wentian spoke. He was prepared to wait for a period of time at the boundless sea coast. All right then. Jun Mengchen nodded. After that, they continued to stay at the boundless sea coast. During this period of time they saw Qin Dangtian. He invited goddess Nikhang over, and when they appeared, a huge commotion was caused. Countless people stared at this immortal couple with envy. Right now they were already engaged. Under Qin Wentian's gaze, Qin Dangtian, goddess Nikhang and the people of the Qin clan all headed towards the entrance of the heaven vault. For the next period of time he saw some familiar faces. These were the people he met in the world of reincarnation. One day he saw another familiar figure. This person was someone he hadn't seen for a very long time. When he saw Qin Wentian in white robes appearing in the air above the boundless sea coast, Qin Wentian felt a myriad of emotions in his heart. He didn't expect to actually meet Qin Wentian here. He still remembered the words Qin Wentian said to him before he left back then. "I'll wait for you at the peak of the immortal realms." Chapter 1877. This person was none other than Hua Taishu. Qin Wentian knew that back then, after the myriad incarnations immortal king died, Hua Taishu's body underwent some changes. He had his own secrets. His aura was completely different compared to the past. He casually stood there, but he gave off a transcendent feeling. His gaze turned towards the heaven vault before turning back to the crowd of people on the shore. When his gaze landed on Qin Wentian and the two others, he paused for a moment before shifting his gaze away again. But just as he shifted his gaze away, his eyes shifted back again as though he had sensed something. His eyes suddenly changed. There seemed to be a strange white light within them, boundlessly deep, as though his pupils were spinning about. "You are here." Hua Taishu's voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind, causing Qin Wentian to start. Right now, his control over illusions has already touched upon the Tao. Even heavenly deities wouldn't be able to see through it. Yet Hua Taishu actually saw through it with a single glance? What ability was this? "I'm here," Qin Wentian replied. Since Hua Taishu could see through it, there was naturally no need for him to hide it from him. Hua Taishu nodded lightly to him. After that, he stepped out and flew towards the direction of the heaven vault. Such a minute detail didn't attract the attention of others. After all, in the supreme ancient immortal realms, not many people knew of the name Hua Taishu. His appearance also didn't cause any commotion. During these days there were simply too many people. Even heavenly deities would occasionally appear. "Senior brother, Hua Taishu seems to have recognized us?" Jun Mengchen transmitted his voiceover. Qin Wentian replied. Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed. "Strange. Why do I feel that he is becoming more and more heaven-defying?" Heavenly deities might know that they were in disguise, but it was impossible for them to see through their true identities with a single glance. Yet Hua Taishu could do it. Could it be that his eyes could see through samsara with a single glance? The Tao of disguise was simply not worth a mention in his eyes? "Let's enter the heaven vault as well." Qin Wentian spoke. Jun Mengchen and Qi Yu nodded. After that, there would still be more people arriving. Many experts from the hegemonic powers have yet to arrive. For example, Little Rascal and the others from the Demon God Mountain have yet to arrive. Qin Wentian and the others flew towards the direction of the heaven vault. At this moment, a figure could be seen flying over from afar. This figure looked very ordinary and was clad in simple robes. He had a sword strapped to his back, and with every step he took, the waves beneath his feet would stop churning, becoming incomparably calm. Qin Wentian glanced at that person. This person gave him an unfathomable feeling. He might be a heavenly deity. However, he was too ordinary, so ordinary that no one noticed his existence. Otherwise, if someone were to see him, they might be able to recognize him. After all, he was an extremely famous character in the Xian region. Hidden dragons and crouching tigers, Qin Wentian silently mused. This time it was unknown how many major characters wanted to enter the heaven vault. Heaven's son Qin Dangtian of the Qin clan, Reverend 7 Abstinences from the Pure Land of Bliss, Yu Chongkong, Hua Taishu, Qin Zheng and the others. He was acquainted with these people, but there were even more major characters he didn't know of. The commotion this time would far surpass that of the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. After all, back then when the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy was opened, only the various hegemonic powers participated and only world overlords could enter. However, the heaven vault had no restrictions. As long as you wanted to enter, heavenly deities, world overlords, and experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms would all be present. Qin Wentian and the other two walked towards the point where the sea and the sky connected. The waves churned and churned as a vertical eye appeared in the sky. This was the entrance to the heaven vault. Qin Wentian and the others arrived at the bottom. Their hearts trembled as they walked towards the vertical eye. It felt like the vertical eye was a true crack in the sky. Heaven vault, the place where Grandpa died. Qin Wentian's expression was solemn as he continued walking forward. Their figures seemed extremely tiny and insignificant in front of the spatial crack in the sky, like a drop of water in the vast ocean. Finally, Qin Wentian and the other two stepped into the spatial crack, as their bodies vanished from the horizon. When Qin Wentian and the others reappeared, they were already in another world. Before them, there was no longer the scene where the sea and sky connected. There wasn't even a single drop of water. This place was like a desolate world, a broken world like an ancient ruin. In this ruin there were many figures here. That ordinary-looking young man with the ancient sword on his back was also in front of them. Naturally, Hua Taishi was there as well. Other than them, there were also many experts who entered the heaven vault earlier. Because the path ahead wasn't so easy to traverse, Qin Wentian turned his gaze ahead only to see an extremely shocking scene. Numerous towering stone pillars could be seen here. They seemed to originate from an ancient world. There were runic inscriptions on the stone pillars, and they exuded an ancient aura. What was even more shocking was that at the peak of each stone pillar, a figure could be seen standing there. These figures were like eternal war gods from the primordial era, standing there. Yet they also resembled stone statues. Their armor was stained with white dust. If it wasn't for the fact that a figure could be seen moving, everyone would have thought that these were just statues. Qin Wentian discovered that if he wanted to continue forward, he had to pass through these towering stone pillars. There were no other paths for him to take a detour. At this moment, a world overlord walked forward. His expression was heavy as the energy of his heaven heart mandate revolved around him. As he stepped out, a powerful aura enveloped this entire space. At this moment, in front of the ancient pathway he wanted to pass, the statue on the towering stone pillar suddenly moved. The dust on its body fell off as the dust from the divine weapon in his hand drifted into the air, revealing the true appearance of the divine weapon. It was an ancient halberd that gleamed with a black light, exuding a fearsome devil might. Rumbling sounds rang out as the dust on the statue unceasingly fell off. The black devil armor he wore also radiated a black light. That statue was like a devil god. Only to see the devil halberd in its hands piercing towards the ancient path below. A terrifying devil might manifested in the air as a gigantic ancient halberd appeared, piercing down from the sky, wanting to pierce through the heavens and earth. The world overlord on the ancient path below inclined his head. He only saw a heaven-destroying devil halberd flying over. This devil halberd was over 10,000 meters long, and it had the force of a thunderbolt as it slashed down. That world overlord had a look of terror on his face. He felt that the space around him was being sealed. When that might bore down on him, there was simply no place for him to hide. He released his powerful heaven heart mandate, wanting to resist. However, that gigantic devil halberd was like a hot knife cutting through butter, destroying everything in its path. A thunderous boom rang out, causing the entire space to tremble. The devil halberd pierced into the ground, but the body of that world overlord was already shattered into pieces. Dust flew everywhere as the entire space around him trembled unstably. The 10,000-meter devil halberd flew back, landing in the hands of that statue once again. It was like a heavenly deity standing there. A single strike to break through all techniques. Its strength reached the extreme, tyrannical and invincible, unstoppable. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a strange light when he saw this scene. Although these stone statues were very powerful, they weren't at the level of world overlords. Clearly, it was impossible for them to block a heavenly deity. However, if ordinary world overlords wanted to enter the heaven vault, it would be impossible for them to come into contact with the secrets of the heaven vault. He was thinking if the closer one got to the secrets of the heaven vault, the stronger one's strength would be. Back then, his grandfather Qin Tiangang had entered a place where his strength couldn't reach. That was why he ended up in the divine fall heaven vault. At this moment, the silhouette with the ancient sword on his back walked forward. His footsteps were very slow, and when he moved forward, a similarly terrifying statue rushed over. A terrifying power seemed to be about to land on his body, but at that moment, everything around him seemed to have stopped. However, his movements didn't stop. He casually walked forward, passing through the region blocked by the stone pillars and statues. "Who is he?" someone asked in shock. The eyes of an expert from the heavenly deity mountain flashed. After that, His eyes gleamed with a dazzling light. It's him. He has also come here, attracted by the heaven vault. He is Jian Junlai. A voice rang out, causing the crowd to be in an uproar. This was especially so for those from the mystic region. Their hearts were filled with shock. That ordinary-looking man was actually Jian Junlai, the #1 swordsman under the heavens in the mystic region. The sword monarch Jian Junlai. Who? Many people drew in a deep breath. What kind of magical power did the heaven vault have exactly? Why would so many heavenly deities come here? At this moment, Hua Taishu continued forward. Similarly, he encountered a tribulation. Hua Taishu glanced at the statues and in an instant, the light of samsara flashed, causing the statues to tremble unceasingly. How can an insignificant speck of dust obstruct my path? Hua Taishu calmly spoke. He continued forward and the statues directly disintegrated, turning into dust. His silhouette directly walked past them. After he walked past them, the statues reformed once more, as though they had an undying body. Who is that? Someone exclaimed in shock. I don't know him, but I feel that he is very powerful. Everyone sighed in their hearts. Seems like there were simply too many experts who came here today. There were even some hidden experts who came to the heaven vault. More and more people walked past them. There were also some world overlords who weren't strong enough who were blocked. Let's go over. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Jun Mingchen and Qiyu both nodded. The three of them continued forward, walking towards the same ancient path. The statues on the towering stone pillars ahead suddenly moved as a fearsome might enveloped Qin Wentian and the others. Energy gushed forth from Qin Wentian's body, but at this moment, he suddenly furrowed his brows. After which, a strange light flashed in his eyes. In his sea of consciousness, the tiny astral being that had been dormant for so many years suddenly radiated a faint radiance. This radiance was so bright that it seemed to be on the verge of bursting out. In that instant, the terrifying statue that was descending from the skies suddenly halted, and actually retreated back to its original location. This strange scene caused those who were watching from behind to be stunned. What was going on? It seemed that those three figures hadn't clashed with the statues yet. Their attacks hadn't even started. Why did the statues retreat on their own? Chapter 1878. A strange look appeared on Qin Wentian's face. But a moment later, the tiny astral being fell silent again, no longer emitting any aura. Rumbling sounds rang out as the statue on the stone pillar moved again. It was like a heavenly deity pressing down on Qin Wentian. Upon seeing this scene, Qin Wentian's eyes narrowed. The aura radiating from the tiny astral being was actually able to cause the statue to return to its original position? Was it because the tiny astral being was a supreme treasure? Or was it because the tiny astral being had a connection with the heaven vault? This caused Qin Wentian's interest in the heaven vault to grow even more intense. His grandfather died here. The tiny astral being was acting strangely here. Was there a connection between all of these? He didn't have time to think too much. In the air, that divinity-like statue descended from the sky. He wielded a gigantic axe in his hands that could split the heavens and earth apart. That gigantic axe cleaved downwards. Even space itself seemed to be on the verge of being torn apart. Qin Wentian, who stood on the ancient pathway, felt extremely tiny and insignificant. He could feel a powerful pressure enveloping him. His entire person seemed to be enveloped by the will of the gigantic axe. A terrifying fissure appeared in the sky, wanting to cleave his body into two. Qin Wentian had a feeling that the space he was in was about to be torn apart by the giant axe. He had nowhere to escape to. Behind him a bright light flashed. Above Qin Wentian's head, numerous ancient characters manifested, revolving around him, transforming into a spatial light screen that resembled a diagram of the Great Tao. In an instant, that incomparably terrifying attack was completely absorbed into the spatial light screen. After that, it dissipated into nothingness. It was like no matter how terrifying the attack was, it had no way to touch his body. Qin Wentian stepped out, exuding an incomparably carefree aura. He directly stepped onto the ancient pathway and passed through the region of stone pillars. Another supreme existence. The spectators at the back felt somewhat numb. The sword monarch Jian Junlai, the mysterious and powerful Hua Taishu. Now another supreme existence appeared, easily blocking that tyrannical attack. It felt as though his attack was nearing the level of heavenly Tao energy. However, no one knew who this person was. After Qin Wentian walked past, Jun Mengqian was eager to try. He followed Qin Wentian's footsteps and walked past the stone pillar. Naturally, the attacks he faced were the same. Many years ago during the convention of myriad realms, Jun Mengqian had already comprehended an extraordinary world heart and became a transcendent-level world overlord. Now that so many years have passed and he was cultivating in the ancient battlefield of ancient Azure Mystic, with a heavenly deity guiding him as a master, his strength could no longer be compared to the past. His senior brother easily passed the test. Hua Taishu did the same as well, destroying a powerful statue with a single glance. He naturally couldn't lose too much face. Jun Mengqian stepped out, and in an instant, it was as though all the energy in the world was under his control. Instantly, Jun Mengqian was like an emperor of the mortal world. He stretched out his hands and beneath his palms, there seemed to be a world of its own. After which he clenched his fists, and instantly terrifying beams of light penetrated through his body, shooting up into the clouds. His entire person's aura had reached an inconceivable level. What ability is this? The eyes of everyone flashed as they stared at Jun Mengqian. This man was like the reincarnation of a heavenly deity. The light radiating from him was so dazzling that it was blinding. He lifted his fist and with a roar of anger, he punched out towards the gigantic axe that was flying towards him. His fist light penetrated through the heavens and earth, like a hot knife cutting through butter, destroying everything. The gigantic axe was destroyed, and the gigantic statue directly exploded into pieces. Not bad. Jun Mengqian smiled. His cultivation method was different from many people. With a step out, he also walked out of this region. Finally, Qiyu followed after him. He drew in a deep breath. After inheriting the battle Saint Bone, he cultivated for many years. Although he sparred with others in the ancient battlefield, this was the first time he came out for a true battle. From Qiyu, a world-shaking battle intent gushed forth. Although his body didn't grow larger, the aura he exuded wasn't any weaker compared to the newly formed statue. An extremely strong battle intent seemed to be about to burst out of his body. The experts behind him could all feel the violent power accumulated in his body. Finally, Qiyu let out a thunderous roar, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Within his roar, numerous runes appeared. These runes contained the battle intent of the heavens and earth, capable of destroying the heavens. When they slammed into the gigantic axe, the runes directly shattered it. After that, they slammed into the gigantic body of the statue, penetrating through it. Battle runes. The people behind watched as Qiyu left. A look of contemplation could be seen in their eyes. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, there were many people who infused their Tao energy into runes to attack. Would there be any special meaning behind the runes of battle? After that, the experts all tried to pass the trial. However, it seemed that only extremely powerful world overlords would be able to do so. For ordinary world overlords who came to the Heaven Vault, they had no way to pass the first trial. In fact, there were even quite a few world overlords who died here. The Heaven Vault didn't seem to be so easy to barge into. If one didn't know their own strength, there was a high possibility that they would die. Deities falling wasn't a lie. This was true history. Qin Wentian and his group walked past the stone pillar region and continued forward. Very soon they saw many people ahead of them. All of them were standing there, staring ahead, not daring to advance recklessly. They chose to halt their steps. However, when Qin Wentian saw the scene ahead, his heart involuntarily trembled. Within the Heaven Vault, it was truly a different world with each step. Before this, it was like a desolate land with 10 heaven-reaching stone pillars blocking the way. But after they stepped past it, what appeared before their eyes was actually a sea. A sea of blood. This was a sea of blood, so bright that it was dazzling to the eyes. On the shore, there was a bone boat that floated there. Qin Wentian saw a stone monument erected at the edge of the blood sea. This stone monument was the color of blood, and there were words engraved on it. Blood as the sea, bones as the boat. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. Using blood as the sea, the blood of a person transformed into a sea of blood. Using bones as the boat floating in the sea of blood was formed from bones. What sort of place was the heaven vault exactly? Using blood as the sea, what did it mean? Everyone. Why are you all not continuing forward? Qin Wentian came over and asked a person beside him. That person glanced at Qin Wentian. He came here much earlier than Qin Wentian and also wanted to cross the sea. However, when he saw the scene a few days ago, he hesitated. This blood sea will melt the moment you touch it. If you sink into it, your bloodline will become a part of the blood sea. That expert calmly spoke. Qin Wentian's expression trembled as he asked, has such a situation happened before? Yes. That person slowly nodded. His expression was heavy. There was a hegemonic level world overlord who entered the blood sea and rode on a bone boat. It was unknown what he encountered, but the bone boat capsized and he was buried in the blood sea, directly transforming into blood. Not even his bones remained. Qin Wentian's heart pounded violently. The blood sea was actually so terrifying. If a heavenly deity rode on a bone boat and capsized, what would happen to him? What about heavenly deities? What would happen to them? Qin Wentian asked. That person was actually willing to tell Qin Wentian. He continued, even heavenly deities would be suppressed after entering the blood sea. Before this, there was already a heavenly deity who tried, but he didn't manage to travel too far and returned halfway. Someone asked him what he experienced, but he didn't say anything. After a period of time, he turned and left this place, no longer wanting to take the risk. Jun Mengchen and Qi Yu also walked over. From afar, they could hear the conversation between Qin Wentian and that person. Their hearts trembled. Jun Mengchen spoke, in that case we just entered the heaven vault, and we already encountered an unknown power that could threaten heavenly deities? Even heavenly deities retreated. How many people would dare to enter the blood sea? Heavenly deities have already cultivated to that level and have towering authority. They naturally wouldn't be willing to take the risk. That person laughed. Qin Wentian understood that this was the truth. Since one has already entered the deity realm, why would there be a need to take the risk? If this blood sea truly had the power to kill heavenly deities, there would surely be many heavenly deities who chose to retreat. Dangtian, have you made your decision? At this moment Qin Zheng also came over. He spoke to Qin Dangtian who was beside him. I'm willing to continue roaming the world. Qin Dangtian nodded. So what if the blood sea existed? Back then, someone from the Qin clan had done this before. How could he retreat? After all, he was the heaven's son. Alright, since this is the case, go ahead. Father will return to the clan and wait for your good news. Qin Zheng spoke. He didn't wish to enter the blood sea. To him, his cultivation base has already reached an extremely high level and he was also the Qin clan leader. There was no need for him to take the risk of entering the heaven vault. Back then when Qin Tiangang and his wife died in the heaven vault, according to what his father said, their cultivation bases weren't comparable to his current level. But since his son wanted to enter, he still supported him. There are only places I don't wish to go. There's no place I can't go. Qin Dongtian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He stared at goddess Nikhang beside him as a hint of gentleness flashed in his eyes. Nikhang, the blood sea is extremely dangerous. Don't head there and wait for me to return. How about it? Goddess Nikhang shook her head lightly. The heaven vault was the place where her father died. She wanted to see what secrets this heaven vault had exactly. Seeing goddess Nikhang shaking her head, Qin Dangtian stared at her beautiful eyes and nodded. Might as well. Let's head there together then. If there's any danger, I will send you back. As he spoke, he stepped out and boarded a bone boat as he flew forward. The bone boat entered the blood sea. The two of them traveled side by side, resembling an immortal couple. Many people weren't in a hurry. They wanted to see what would happen to Qin Dangtian and goddess Nikhang. But at this moment sword intent gushed forth. The ancient sword on Jian Junlai's back was unsheathed and landed on a lone boat. He stepped out and stood on the ancient sword. As for the ancient sword, it was on the bone boat. In the blood sea, only bone boats could travel forward. Since Qin Dangtian can enter, why can't I? Many supreme characters of the supreme ancient immortal realms no longer hesitated when they saw someone taking the lead. They all stepped out and steered the bone boats. Qin Wentian glanced at Qin Zheng who was at the edge of the blood sea. He only heard Qin Zheng mumbling in a low voice, "Back then I didn't do what you all did. But my son will definitely accomplish it for me." After speaking, he turned and actually left, heading towards the exit. Sometimes, he was filled with admiration for his clan brother. Many years after his parents died, the heaven vault opened again. He definitely had to enter the heaven vault to take a look. "Let's go." Qin Wentian heard Qin Zheng's words. Who was the you all he was referring to? His grandfather and grandmother came before. Where was his father? Did they enter the heaven vault before? Chapter 1879. The Blood Sea White Bone Boats. Each bone boat could only carry a single person. Qin Wentian didn't hesitate and boarded one of the bone boats. Jun Mengchen and Qi Yu had resolute looks on their faces. They stood on his left and right respectively as they boarded the bone boats and entered the Blood Sea. Using blood as the sea, white bones as the boats, Qin Wentian was thinking that this Blood Sea was formed from the blood of a supreme expert. Were these bone boats created from his bones? If this was the case, what sort of place was this heaven vault? An oppressive aura bore down on him. Qin Wentian stood on the white bone boat, gradually moving deeper into the depths of the Blood Sea. On the shore of the Blood Sea, there were many experts who saw many people attempting the white bone boat. All of them stepped forward, stepping on the white bone boat. Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian, Reverend Seven Abstinences, Lin Shao and the others, which of them weren't Heaven's chosen? They were all willing to take the risk. As for themselves, they were originally inferior to them. Why did they not dare to take the risk? Even the mystical maiden of the Nine Heavens mystical palace, the number one beauty of the heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, also stepped on the bone boats. What reason did they have to cower? Upon thinking of this, more and more people stepped forward taking the risk. Naturally, there were still many people who were hesitating. After all, there were too many people here. The experts from the 8 regions all rushed here to the legendary heaven vault. At this moment among the crowd, a white-robed figure stepped forward. His aura was boundlessly carefree and he was extraordinarily handsome. Everywhere he passed by, the people in the surroundings would be intimidated by his aura and involuntarily retreated. This caused them to feel a sense of disbelief. How could this be possible? They were world overlords and even hegemonic level experts. Yet, they actually retreated for no reason when they saw this white-robed young man. This caused them to feel a chill in their hearts as they stared at the white-robed young man. How strong was he exactly? The white-robed figure walked to the shore of the Blood Sea and stared at the stone monument. Using blood as the sea, using bones as the boat, he murmured in a low voice as a faint smile appeared on his face. Interesting. With that, he took a step forward and a shocking scene appeared. He did not step onto the bone boat, but rather stepped directly onto the sea of blood. In fact, with a wave of his hand, a tempest of the sea of blood appeared. He reached out and touched the sea of blood, as if he were sensing the power of the sea of blood. What's the point? He seemed to know something as he continued to walk on the Blood Sea. This Blood Sea that could shake even heavenly deities was no different from an ordinary sea to him. He walked on the Blood Sea as his white-robed figure gradually disappeared into the distance. The experts at the shores of the Blood Sea all had looks of shock on their faces as great waves rose in their hearts. At the shores of the Blood Sea, there were still heavenly deities. Even for them, a deep sense of reverence appeared in their hearts. There was actually such a character in the supreme ancient immortal realms? What was even more terrifying was that no one knew of him. Qin Wentian and many others were currently traversing the sea. How fast were world overlords? Heavenly deities were even faster. They could traverse boundless space with a single step. However, in the Blood Sea, no one dared to move recklessly. All of them obediently sat on the white bone boats. At this moment, the people in the Blood Sea all saw a white-robed figure walking past them confidently. Waves of shock rose in their hearts. How could this be possible? There was actually someone who could traverse the Blood Sea so easily. Also, they felt that the power of this Blood Sea was able to engulf all living beings. Qin Wentian also saw it. At the instant he saw the white-robed young man. His eyes gleamed with a dazzling light. He opened his mouth wanting to speak, but he discovered that the white-robed young man also saw him. Although the white-robed young man changed his appearance, the white-robed young man seemed to be able to see through him. The white-robed young man smiled and nodded to him before walking past him. This person is so terrifying. Jun Mengchen's heart trembled violently. Senior brother, you are acquainted with him? I've met this senior before. Since he is here, it's very normal for him to be able to do this. The heaven vault can obstruct heavenly deities, but it can't obstruct him. Qin Wentian replied. Jun Mengchen and Qi Yu, who were at the side, froze, both stunned by Qin Wentian's words. Since Qin Wentian said this, he clearly knew how powerful the white-robed young man was. Senior brother, where did you meet him before? Jun Mengchen was filled with curiosity as he asked. Tiandao's Sacred Academy, the world of reincarnation. Mengchen, don't reveal this matter to others. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to Jun Mengchen. After that, he didn't say anything more. Since this senior is in seclusion, it's best not to say too much about him. Right. Jun Mengchen nodded. He knew that his senior brother might have encountered a miraculous encounter and met a transcendent character. Qin Dangtian, who was in front of Qin Wentian, also saw the white-robed young man. His gaze froze as a look of shock appeared on his face. He then called out, Sir, please wait a moment. The white-robed young man turned his head and casually glanced at him. Sir, how did you do it? Qin Dangtian asked. The white-robed young man didn't reply. He turned and continued on his way. Qin Dongtian's expression froze. He was actually disregarded. But when he saw the white-robed young man stepping on the blood sea, he originally wanted to say something, but ultimately, he couldn't say anything. The strength of this young man might have far surpassed his imagination. It was best not to antagonize him. Seems like there were still some unknown powerful existences in the supreme ancient immortal realms. He still had to work hard in his cultivation and hoped that he would be able to make a breakthrough during this trip to the Heaven Vault. As they continued forward, the blood sea grew darker. Above their heads, a blood-colored light enveloped them, forming a blood cavern. The suppressive aura grew more and more terrifying. In front of them, the blood sea churned, as though waves of blood had appeared. In the distance, the white-robed figure directly passed through the storm. To him, this blood sea didn't seem to be an obstacle at all. However, the experts on the white bone boat all felt a sense of danger. Nikhang, don't leave my side no matter what. Qin Dangtian spoke. His expression also turned heavy. As the sound of his voice faded, many ancient characters revolved around Qin Dangtian, transforming into a screen of light that blocked the path ahead, enveloping the bone boat. The blood sea tempest gushed over but was blocked by the light of the ancient characters, unable to corrode the bone boat. The others also encountered the same thing. Qin Wentian stared at the churning blood sea before him. A screen of light appeared around him, creating an absolute space. It was like his entire person had entered a unique space. When the blood sea gushed over, it actually directly engulfed him, but it wasn't able to injure him at all. A world appeared around Jun Mengchen, revolving around him. Qi Yu's battle intent radiated from him as a battle rune appeared before him. All the experts unleashed their respective innate techniques. As they continued to cross the blood sea, the storm in front of them became more and more terrifying. The surging blood sea was like a huge wave crashing over, bringing with it an astonishing power. The resistance of the experts in front of them was corroded by the blood sea and gradually turned blood red. Their expressions gradually changed. Careful. Qin Wentian's expression grew increasingly heavy. Nikhang, the blood sea ahead has the power to corrode everything. Let me send you back. Qin Dangtian spoke to Goddess Nikhang. The halo of light around him, as well as the might of his Tao art, was actually corroded. No need. Goddess Nikhang had a resolute look on her face. Blood as the sea, white bones as the boat. There would definitely be a way to cross this. Only to see that at this moment within the blood sea, streams of black-colored energy suddenly appeared, shooting towards the light barrier that the experts were using to resist. They directly penetrated through it. Even Qin Dongtian's ancient words were penetrated. After that, the blood sea slowly seeped into the white bone boat. At the front, even the light barrier around Reverend Qi Jia was penetrated. His position was closer to the front and gradually, the blood sea engulfed the white bone boat. The white bone boat started to sink, causing the hearts of the people behind to sink as well. Reverend Qi Jie has already verified his Tao. What would he choose? At this moment, Reverend Qi Jie pressed his palms together and chanted a Buddhist chant. After that, he abandoned the white bone boat and stepped into the blood sea bit by bit. When his legs came into contact with the blood sea, they gradually turned illusory and vanished bit by bit. However, his body was still sinking deeper and deeper. For every inch he sank, his body seemed to be a part of the blood sea. The experts behind all had horrified expressions on their faces. Reverend Qi Jie was a heavenly deity. Even he couldn't block the corrosion of the blood sea. Didn't this mean that everyone here would be buried in the blood sea? Reverend Qi Jie's entire body sank into the blood sea, vanishing from sight. Within the blood sea, a beam of Buddhist light appeared, resembling a relic of the Buddhist path. Reverend Qi Jie, is he abandoning his body to seek the Tao? Someone trembled. At the back there were people who wavered and turned back. They didn't want to take the risk. There was basically no way to cross this blood sea. Using white bones as a boat, if one wanted to cross the blood sea, they would definitely turn into white bones. Nikhang. Qin Dangtian stared at Goddess Nikhang only to see that Goddess Nichang's expression was as calm as water. There was no fear in her beautiful eyes. She walked forward and actually directly exited the white bone boat, entering the blood sea. Nikhang. Qin Dangtian called out loudly. However, Goddess Nikhang ignored him. Her body sank into the blood sea as her beautiful body gradually dissipated. The hearts of the people behind trembled even more violently when they saw this scene. The number one beauty of the heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, was going to die here? Wait, something's wrong. Qin Dongtian's eyes flashed. The Pure Land of Bliss was one of the hegemonic powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. They had many secret manuals of the Buddhist path, and there might be records regarding the Heaven Vault. Nichang's father had entered the Heaven Vault before, and might know some secrets about it. Entering the blood sea might not necessarily mean death. When he thought of this, Qin Dongtian's gaze was incomparably resolute. He abandoned the ancient word halo and stepped out, entering the blood sea. Even Nikhang could do this. What was there for him, Qin Dangtian, to fear? Have they all gone mad? The experts behind all felt disbelief when they saw this. These people had all gone mad. Qin Wentian naturally saw everything that happened before him. Reverend Seven Abstinences, Heaven's Son Qin Dangtian, Goddess Nikhang. Which one of them wasn't a supreme character that exuded magnificence and magnificence? Yet, all of them actually chose to abandon the white bone boat and directly stepped into the blood sea. Was this a path of death? If it was a path of death, how did people in the past pass it? Although the Heaven Vault was dangerous and was known as the place where deities died, according to the records in the Sacred Academy's Heavenly Tao Library, as long as one was a little more cautious, the chances of survival would still be very high. This blood sea wasn't truly a path of death. When he thought of this, he spoke, "Uncle Yu Mengchen, you guys make your own choice." After speaking, he gave up on resisting. The white bone boat sank downwards as his body sank into the blood sea as well. Chapter 1880. Qin Wentian's body sank into the blood sea. He could feel his body gradually disappearing, transforming into nothingness. When he completely entered the blood sea, he could sense that he no longer had a body of flesh and blood. There was only a soul of nothingness left. The blood sea can corrode one's body, but is there still a soul? Qin Wentian asked himself. As long as one's soul remained, one's body could be regenerated. As long as one's soul didn't die, they would be indestructible. The white bone boat continued sinking into the depths of the blood sea. Qin Wentian's soul was sinking as well. At the same time, he floated forward. Even if only his soul remained, he wanted to traverse this blood sea. The Heaven Vault was able to attract heavenly deities to take the risk. There was definitely a secret behind it. But right now, he had yet to come into contact with anything. Ahead in the blood sea, a black-colored energy current drifted towards Qin Wentian's soul of nothingness. This was none other than the energy current that corroded the defenses of the experts in the blood sea earlier. This black-colored energy current actually transformed into a humanoid figure. Its eyes were pitch black, incomparably evil, like an evil spirit. After that, not only did Qin Wentian see a single evil spirit, there were many of them. These black-colored energy currents transformed into evil spirits that directly lunged towards his soul. Qin Wentian's soul radiated light. It was the light from his astral soul, wanting to block the invasion of the evil spirits. However, when those evil spirits lunged over, they instantly engulfed the astral light. Countless black-colored evil spirits lunged towards his soul. At this moment, Qin Wentian only felt his soul being devoured bit by bit. He suddenly felt a sense of terror. The terror these evil spirits gave him caused his consciousness to dissipate. Am I dead? Qin Wentian felt his consciousness gradually turning blurry. After that, he seemed to have returned to ancient azure mystic, floating in the airspace above it. He saw Qing'er, he saw Qingcheng, he saw Yiqinyu, he saw Yu Huang and Bai Qing. All of them were waiting for him, day after day, year after year, yet he still hadn't returned. It was as though he could see Qing'er cutting off all her white hair, her heart like dead ashes. She could also see Qingcheng being heartbroken. His will also drifted to the demon god mountain. He saw his grandfather and Layer. When they learned of his death, Layer cried. His grandfather inclined his head to the sky and sighed. His uncle had a look of sorrow on his face. Everything has ended. There was no one to avenge the death of his parents. There was no one to take care of his wife, and she had to stay in this world to suffer. Such terror caused him to despair, causing his will to grow weaker and weaker. It was like he didn't want to continue watching. Since I can see all of this, it means that my consciousness still exists in this world. I am not completely dead. Qin Wentian's dissipating will suddenly returned, pulling him back into the blood sea. The countless evil spirits continued to corrode his soul, but at this moment, Qin Wentian's will was incomparably resolute. His soul floated forward, allowing the evil spirits to corrode it as they pleased. These evil spirits formed from the black qi currents couldn't truly destroy his soul and wipe away his will. It was like a form of consciousness. It was ethereal and filled with fear. If he lost his consciousness in fear, most probably, his soul would truly dissipate here, sinking into this blood sea for all eternity. Qin Wentian's soul continued moving forward, following the blood sea. The evil spirits kept on invading him. With his first experience, he no longer wavered and continued forward with incomparable determination. Not only for Qin Wentian, everyone who entered the blood sea would be corroded by the evil spirits. Goddess Nikhang was surrounded by countless evil spirits, but she still radiated a holy light. She also had an ethereal body, but tears could be seen at the corners of her eyes. But even so, she still continued moving forward. In the blood sea, Qin Wentian didn't know how many people had entered. He couldn't be bothered with them anymore. The him now could only rely on his powerful will to resist everything. He believed that there would be a day where he would be able to exit this blood sea. However, Qin Wentian's firm conviction wavered after a period of time. As time flowed by, he felt that he had spent a few centuries in the blood sea. However, the blood sea seemed boundless, as though he had no way to exit it. He was unable to reach the other shore. The evil spirits formed from the black air currents never stopped invading him, bringing with them all sorts of negative emotions. 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 2 years. Qin Wentian felt that he had been walking in the blood sea for far too long. However, there was still no end to the blood sea. He kept telling himself that he had to hold fast to his original heart and not waver. There would be a day where he would be able to exit this blood sea. Maybe the day would be tomorrow. Hope rose time and time again, but he was disappointed again and again until it turned into despair. The blood sea was still the same blood sea as before. It was like he had never moved before, like he had always been wandering at his original location. However, tens of years seemed to have passed. He continued walking forward like this, walking for tens of years. Only he knew how much despair he felt. In addition, there was also fear constantly invading his heart. Fear and despair were sufficient to destroy a person completely. He involuntarily thought of Qing'er and Qingcheng. Every time he felt that he couldn't persevere anymore, he would think of them. He could still continue on. However, despair was eternal. It was able to destroy his conviction bit by bit. It was unknown how many years had passed, but he was still walking in the blood sea. If this was the case, even if there would be a day where he could exit the blood sea, it would already be countless years later. Qin Wentian was tired. He felt that he was truly exhausted. He wanted to give up and allow himself to sink into despair. His consciousness dissipated bit by bit, as though he had no way to persevere any longer. But at this moment, he shivered as he felt a chill in his soul. In an instant, all the illusions vanished. He broke free from the despair. His body was currently being invaded by many evil spirits. Those tens of years of despair, it was as though they were nothing but a dream. Evil spirits, not only could they bring about fear, they could also bring about despair. These evil spirits in the blood sea contained all sorts of negative emotions. They only had a single purpose: to cause people to crumble. Too terrifying. Qin Wentian felt a chill in his heart. Unknowingly, they could cause you to sink so deep that you couldn't extricate yourself. You thought that you had just walked out of the illusion and entered reality, only to discover that reality was still an illusion. Qin Wentian continued forward. He saw a beautiful figure ahead of him. That was Goddess Nichang's soul. She was currently struggling and seemed to have fallen into despair and terror. Qin Wentian's soul floated forward. A strand of his soul energy entered Goddess Nichang's world of despair. Their souls were connected. It's you. Goddess Nichang's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian. It's me. The evil spirits in the blood sea have the ability to bewitch the hearts of people. They can create all sorts of negative emotions, causing people to feel despair and fear. Qin Wentian spoke. Don't be moved by them. Goddess Nichang's beautiful eyes flashed. After that, she seemed to break free from the despair. Her soul trembled and her beautiful eyes turned to Qin Wentian. Thank you. Let's leave together. Right. Qin Wentian nodded. The two of them continued forward, continuing to walk through the blood sea. However, they still couldn't exit. During the process of walking, they encountered many dangers and kept on resisting the invasion of the evil spirits. Will we be trapped here forever? Goddess Nichang's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian. We won't. Qin Wentian shook his head. At this moment, Goddess Nichang stretched out her slender hand and held Qin Wentian's hand. I'm tired. I want to give up. Qin Wentian's hand trembled. He stared at Goddess Nichang. Even if this blood sea is truly boundless, we will still exit it. I'm really tired. Can you stay here and accompany me? Goddess Nichang moved closer to Qin Wentian, wanting to lean against Qin Wentian. Upon seeing this scene, Qin Wentian closed his eyes. He sighed. When will I be able to experience reality exactly? Could it be that these evil spirits are able to bring me into an illusory realm endlessly? When he opened his eyes, Goddess Nichang was no longer here. Everything was fake. Before this, he felt despair and fear. What was this? Was this the desire and greed in his heart? Goddess Nichang was the #1 beauty in the heaven region, and had a period of interaction with Qin Wentian before. It was impossible for Qin Wentian to not have any desire and greed in his heart. There would always be desires and greed in the heart of everyone. It was just a matter of how strong they were. Qin Wentian didn't have any thoughts about Goddess Nichang, but the desire in his heart was actually dug out by the evil spirits. Using blood as the sea, using bones as the boat, Qin Wentian mumbled. He no longer wanted to continue forward. With these countless evil spirits around, he couldn't even differentiate between reality and illusion. Since this is the case, I will use my soul as the boat and my will as the sea. The blood sea won't be able to block my path forward. Qin Wentian mumbled. His soul transformed into a small boat. His powerful will floated forward in the blood sea. His powerful will seemed to fuse together with the blood sea, protecting the soul boat as it moved forward. No matter how the evil spirits tried to corrode it, it was unaffected. He didn't use the blood sea to move forward. He only relied on his own will to move forward. After a very, very long time, Qin Wentian felt a gentle breeze blowing over. He opened his eyes, only to feel incomparably comfortable. He came to the shore of a seashore and continued forward. His soul was in perfect condition, as well as his physical body. It was as though everything he experienced earlier was nothing but an illusion. However, the sea of blood behind him was so real. But no matter what, he managed to reach the other shore. On the other shore, there were only a few people. Compared to the people on the other side of the blood sea, there was an intense contrast. Among these few people, there was the sword monarch Jian Junlai, Reverend 7 abstinences and Hua Taishu. Hua Taishu actually managed to reach the other shore with such speed. He cultivated the cycle of reincarnation. Those illusions couldn't obstruct him at all. Using blood as the sea, using bones as the boat. All the evil spirits are evil. This heaven vault, could it be? Reverend 7 abstinences mumbled, thinking of a possibility. His calm heart involuntarily trembled. You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.